disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. Lobito! You got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
Tonight be the boxing podcast, broadcasting to you live from the True North. This is your good friend, Mr. BDA, and I'm glad that everybody could be on board for this one, fellas. In this episode, we have got a fantastic one for you because we have a fantastic 3 days of boxing. Back-to-back boxing with some of the biggest names in boxing, pound-for-pound names, entertaining names. You want it, you got it. It's got a little bit of everything for everybody. Yeah, no, you got mobile boxers, jabbers, boxer punchers, counter punchers, big stars, I mean, just the whole shebang. And we're going to talk about all that plus more on this phone line show. This is a call-in show, rather. Excuse me. It's a call-in show. You guys get to call in and give us your thoughts on anything and everything boxing. I know some people might still want to give their thoughts on the great fight we had between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, so you can still call in and talk about that. Usyk Dubois has just been announced, so just a whole bunch of... There's way too much boxing. That's why we're going to be doing multiple episodes throughout the week, if everything works out according to plan, because you just never know, right? I mean, ask the people in Europe who've lost power. My goodness, what's that about? But be that as it may, there's a lot to cover. So before we get down to the fun, let's get the business out of the way. You guys know the drill. If you want to donate a couple of shekels our way, you're certainly welcome to do so via the Super Chat feature. We also got the Buy Me a Coffee app, link in the description. And you can also join our Patreon page or the BD membership. That way you get more bang for your buck with special badges, emojis, the whole shebang. And on Patreon, there's some free videos as well. But the most important thing is you continue to like and subscribe. All right? Spread that BD gospel. And speaking of the gospels, shout out to all the messengers out there. I'm talking about the Parokua, Two Matador, La Losoto Gaming, Nightmurph, one of the initiated, Alejandro Solis, Mr. G4L, Parokua, US Body Love, World Boxing Nomad, Nightmurph, Rafael Garza, another one of the initiated, SSC in the house, shout out to him, another one of the initiated, Parokua, King Bucho in the house as well, keeping track of everything in there, Fight Spars, FST, I got to call him FST by the way, shout out to him, Rapax Drunken Company, 10-4, Mars Boxeo, Gene Ryu Jr. 33, Super Sardonic, the 1818, and many more people to come, I'm sure, fellas. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Listen, phone numbers right there in the left and middle portion of your screen. Make sure to call in. Let me put it up in the big marquee. There we go. Look at that. So let me just put the number up here, and I'm going to open up the phone lines now. Give me 2 seconds. Where is this? Save. There we go. My shows. Hey, wait a minute. How come I can't... How it works, pricing. All right, give me 2 seconds here. There we go. About to start the lines right now. So make sure to call in. And I believe you'll listen to the little jingle here once the phone lines are open. Hold on a second.
Ready to connect.
There
Click
you go.
connect
See
to
that
show
dude
now.
talking?
You are connected as the host.
All right, so we're connected right now. So guys, call in, give us your predictions, or if you want some recaps of everything that transpired this past Saturday. Also, like I said, Dubois Usyk 2 has just been announced, and there was a little bit of a shoving match and a little bit of words exchanged between Usyk and Dubois' team. Quite unexpected, but hey, anything to sell a fight nowadays, right? Let's get on with it right away. I'm talking about the fights this Saturday. And hold on a second, where is it? Garcia. Okay, so, oh, and by the way, we're going to be taking down predictions. Prediction time. So make sure to call in and give us your predictions on these fights. I'm going to try to open up the dogometer because that's the most important thing. People always, prediction this, prediction that, break it down. I don't care if you break it down or not. I just want to know who has that dog, right? Who's got that dog? That's the most important thing, right? That's what I hear all over YouTube. People don't break down fights. They just want to know who has that dog. So we're going to get down to that as well. There you go. There's the dogometer. I had to put up the pictures. I wasn't expecting to bring up the dogometer. Anyway, the first fight. Okay, so what do we got on the docket? We've got Haney Ramirez. I think that's going to be the first fight of the night. And by the way, I looked up on the zone. I said, at what time did the festivities start? It says TBA, to be announced. So they haven't figured it out quite yet. But hopefully they tell us in a orderly fashion or timely fashion. Interestingly enough, over here in Canada, I think it's going to be, if you're already a DAZN subscriber, you can buy the City of Wolves card as well as the Canelo card for $100, which, I mean, there's some of these fights by themselves shouldn't be pay-per-view, but all in a bundle, I don't mind paying $100 for two good fights. And then okay, so let's get down to it. We've got Haney versus Jose Carlos Ramirez. That's an interesting fight right there. Hold on a second. Let me put it up on the screen here. All right. We've got, is it even under? What the fuck? Okay. There we go. Haney versus Ramirez in Times Square, Fatal Fury. That's going to be the first fight. Then I suspect it's going to be Lopez versus Barboza, or Barboza Jr., my apologies. And then, of course, the main event would be Garcia versus Rolly Romero. Pretty good card. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to see how the setup is going to work over there in Times Square. Remember, this is outside venue. And it can get pretty chilly, even though it's going to be the beginning of May by the time the card... No, April the 28th. Now, it still gets cold at night over here in the East Coast. So I don't know how they're going to work that out. So that's what we've got. Then on Saturday, Saul Alvarez versus William Scull. That one's going to be an interesting fight as well. And the undercard's pretty good too. Saul Alvarez versus Scull, that's the main event. Then you got Badu Jack versus Noel Grever McCallan. That's going to be neither guy really runs, right? Unless I'm mistaken. Hold on. Noel Grever, that's the guy that recently lost to... No, yeah, he's not a runner, this dude, I don't think. Maybe I'm confusing him with the guy that lost to Ramirez, El Zurdo Ramirez, not that long ago. Be that as it may, what's the other card? Okay, so Badu Jack versus those two. I mean, that guy, Jaime Munguia rematching Bruno Suras. Career on the line for Munguia. If he doesn't beat this guy, he might as well retire. And then you got Bakoli versus Efe Ajagba. That's going to be an inter-African shootout between Nigeria and the Congo. So it's a pretty good fight, if you ask me. Shout out to King Bucho, who says, if you buy both events, you save 25%. Interesting. Fellas, this is the call-in show, so make sure to call in. The phone number is right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. Call in. Give us your thoughts on this card, the predictions, who you think is going to win. By the way, they released a commercial today for the City of Wolves card. It left people a little bit perplexed because I was reading the comments on Discord, and people were saying, wait a minute, did they release by mistake the Garcia Haney commercial that they maybe already filmed in advance in case a rematch happens? No, that's the commercial for this event. It was pretty much 90% Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney in there. A brief appearance from Teofimo Lopez, and 2 mentions of Jose Carlos Ramirez and Rolly Romero on pizza boxes delivered by You guessed it, Oscar De La Hoya, who looked a little bit. I don't want to say that he looked under the influence of something, but he certainly didn't look quite normal. I mean, listen, what do I know? I'm sitting here telling you. Maybe I should just show you. So he shows up at the end. He makes a cameo, as they like to say. Not a post-credits cameo, but look at him. That's him right there. Do you imagine you're at a party, not a Didi party, but just a party, and yeah, okay, things are getting a little wild, and you go, you know what? Let me go to a quiet room here. I gotta take a couple of pills or something. I gotta make a phone call. You open up the door, you see this staring at you. I mean, come on. You can barely see the irises of his eye too. By the way, it looks like his eyes are all black, like he's inhuman, maybe even demonic. I don't know. I'm talking out loud here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Like I said, don't forget to hit that like and call in show. This is the time for you guys to call in. Somebody in the chat said, "Oh, this is gonna be a good show." That depends on you. You gotta call in and make it good. I can't do it by myself. You gotta help me. All right, help me help you. Let's read a couple of comments here. Perocua says, "Don't hate on the cocaine party." FTS says De La Hoya has a lot of skeletons in the closet. Well, he's got a lot of something stuck up a whole bunch of places, according to the rumors. Super Sardonic says he looks African. Okay, what's the point of saying that? Hard Recoil, shout out to him, says, Perocua, you are delusional. Salida says, I'm a call in later, but don't you dare hang up on me again. Like you some girl I be stalking. I mean, I don't know. I don't even think that's a real Salida, by the way. Shout out to US Boy Love, says Cuerpo Boxeo. Rafael Garcia says, okay, he's laughing at him. The Perocua says the dogometer is the truth. Well, it doesn't really let you know who's going to win absolutely, but it does give you a good indication of how things go, usually. So in regards to, so the Studio Wolves commercial, not my cup of tea. It seems like what they're doing now is they're trying to, the director or the guy who comes up with the concept of the commercial, it seems like they're trying to one up the previous commercial in order to be more outlandish. Like, what can we make to stand out and be more unique? But I don't know, it was kind of, again, whether the commercial sucks or not, it's not going to preclude me from buying the cards. I'm going to buy them either way. I'm a boxing fan. In fact, I'm a degenerate scumbag boxing fan. But so the commercial is not a make or break thing. But I mean, it's you don't have to go overboard like Guy Ritchie did with the Dubois Joshua commercial, right? The guy's floating and resurrecting, or the last crescendo too, trying to be too operatic. I mean, it's not complicated. It's a fight. People just want to be pumped up. Although I was reading the comments, and for the most part, they seem to be positive. So hey, what do I know? That's why I don't work in marketing. Okay, so here's what we got then. So Ramirez versus Haney. The narratives, and when I say narratives, I mean the general thought out there for most boxing fans is that the interest in this fight is to see what Haney has left. What does Haney have left after last April 2024, where he ended up losing to Garcia, only to have that loss reversed by divine intervention? Because remember, his little brother said Allah showed him a vision, indicating that Garcia was going to test positive after the fight. So there's some weird things going on in there. And if you check out the Second Renaissance over on Rumble exclusively, I was talking about prophecies yesterday or last night. So we seem to be entering some interesting times where the veil between this world and the afterworld or the netherworld, whatever you want to call it, is sort of thinning a little bit. It's hard to discern now what's real and what's coming from above or from below. And something similar seemed to have happened there with Haney. Maybe Victor Conte is connected. I don't know. But the point is that loss was reversed, but he still took a shellacking in that fight. It wasn't that whole 12 rounds of a shellacking, but it was 3 rounds where he went down. The first round where he got severely buckled, and I believe there was another round where he got his knees buckled too, and he was reeling backward. Or it might have been one of the same rounds in which he was dropped. I don't know, but I mean, just one knockdown can leave you concussed, and the effects last perhaps for the rest of your life, unless you get some of those experimental treatments that are floating around. So the question with Haney is, what does he have left? What does he have left? That's what we're going to be seeing on Saturday. Ramirez hasn't shown a whole lot in his last couple of fights. I mean, he went life and dead with Barthélemy, who's close to 40, and then he got outboxed by Barboza. And here's the interesting thing about that fight. Ramirez was actually doing a good job of cutting the ring off and cutting the distance. Because there's 3 steps to being a pressure fighter. You gotta get near to your opponent, cut the ring off, cut off the escape avenues, get close to your opponent, and then, boom, explode with your power and your speed. He did the first 2 very well. He just couldn't pull that trigger. Now, I give Barboza credit. He stuck that jab on Ramirez's face all night. And what does Haney do very well? He's a very good jabber. Who else has a better jab than him in the lightweight or junior welterweight division? I don't think Hitchens has a better jab. I don't think Rolly Romero has a jab. I know Garcia doesn't have a jab. Tank Davis at lightweight doesn't have a jab. Shakur Stevenson has a bit of a good jab, but it's mostly flash against southpaws, fellow southpaws. Keyshawn Davis, not a great one either. So you got to wonder. He does have, so Haney has the best jab in there in this lightweight, junior welterweight divisions. My thing is the footwork. Does he have the footwork to replicate what Barboza did? Because people believe that Haney is a back foot bitch. He's not a back foot bitch per se. He's an ass style fighter, American slick style fighter, but he's not a runner in that sense. What makes him an ass fighter is the fact that he will break the rules by bending below the waist or clinching. See, I was going to say excessively clinching, but that's the only the WBC who qualifies the foul as excessive clinching. Most of the other organizations say clinching is illegal, and so that's what he does. So that's why we label him as an ass fighter. But he does have a good jab. He can box from long range. But the difference here is, I don't know if he can replicate what Barboza did, because Barboza, believe it or not, has better footwork than Haney. Most people would be amazed by hearing that and saying, well, wait, I mean, Haney's a superior, more accomplished fighter than Barboza. Yeah, but that doesn't, you can be a superior fighter, but you can find an opponent or a guy in your division who might not be as accomplished, but is more skilled in one department than you are. And so I think that's what happens with Barboza. He's got a good jab, not as good as Haney's, but I do suspect he's a little bit more mobile on his feet. Haney sort of drags his feet. If you watch the Prograis fight, he wasn't exactly moving around the ring. And Prograis, by the way, no one's idea of a pressure fighter. He's a very good fighter, but he was exposing Zorrilla, incidentally, the fight prior to Haney. And that's the fight that convinced the Haneys to finally fight Prograis. But Prograis got too much weight on the front foot. Every time he jabs and misses, he sort of swivels forward as if he's about to lose balance. He doesn't have a guard. Doesn't work his way in with the jabs. Just Ramirez, I don't know who wins right now between this version of Ramirez or Prograis, but I can tell you Ramirez is a better aggressor, better at cutting off the ring. He can pull off the Mexican style. Prograis can't, which is ironic because he was denigrating the Mexican style right before he got schooled by Haney. So that is the interesting part about this fight. What does Haney have left? Can he replicate what Barboza did? And can Ramirez hurt Haney? Because again, I think this fight is at a catch weight of welterweight. It's above 140 pounds. So maybe Haney no longer having to dehydrate himself to make weight the way he was doing at lightweight and junior welterweight, where he was regaining 30 pounds on fight night. Maybe this time he'll be a little healthier and manage to pull off a relatively comfortable win. Let me go to the phone lines here real quick. Don't forget the phone lines are open right there, left-hand middle portion of your screen. There's the phone number. Let's go to 619. 619, you're on the air. 619, what's on your mind?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, 619, what's up?
You can hear me?
Yes, I can. Is this Gonzalo or Jose?
Hey, Gonzalo.
Hey, Gonzalo, what's up, man?
Listening to what you're saying. Yep.
So what's up, Gonzalo?
No, just listening to what you're saying about Haney, Ramirez. The interesting thing that I noticed that people are saying he shot. Notice the same thing, but what was the fight that he went through? What was the situation for the reason that people said he was shot from one night to the next? The punch that he got hit by the Scottish dude when he wasn't looking? That's crazy. Can he come back from quote unquote shot to having like the last one good last performance because he's not necessarily old. Okay, he's not necessarily old, and he still showed hard in the past. When he got hurt by Josh Taylor, yeah, he got fucked up. Whether it was legal or not, where he needed to be more aggressive, and he wasn't during that situation, you know. It just so happened what happened. But he still showed hard and finished the fight against Barthélemy. I believe he was hurt again, like a at the time level fighter, C-level fighter, just old guy. But he still recovered and finished the fight and won. So I'm just saying that it's going to take a lot for Jose Carlos Ramirez to quit, because I don't believe he's a quitter. Now, if he's the same fighter he was, well, probably not. No, even that little incident, like he got hit on the brake, that was enough that I could see it, and I've spoken about it before. Now, Devin Haney, we don't know if he's damaged goods either, but he's a young man. Okay, he doesn't crack as hard, so he's not going to be a guy like that's going to pose a lot of danger to Ramirez. Ramirez has been in there guys that can crack some at 140. So I think it's an interesting matchup, and there's a lot too that we're going to learn from both fighters. Okay, now if Devin Haney wins, that's cool too, because we see the Ryan rematch. If Jose Carlos Ramirez wins, well, you know, there you go. That's going to be considered like he's an underdog, right? The upset. But still, he's a quality fighter, ex-world champion. I'm excited about that fight, really. And it's kind of like 50-50 with that and the Barboza Teofimo. Both exciting fights. Ryan is always an exciting fighter. It's just his opponent sucks. He's going to get knocked out within 3 rounds. But that's all, BDA.
All right, Gonzalo, we're going to be taking predictions tomorrow, so make sure to show up for that one, all right, man?
Okay, yeah.
All right, good to hear from you, Gonzalo. Take it easy out there, man.
Talk later.
All right, later.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
That was Gonzalo right there. And yeah, we're going to be taking the predictions from the panelists tomorrow. So stay tuned for that one. But yeah, you know what? That's the interesting thing, because what makes Ramirez shop-worn? Maybe we're exaggerating. Is it possible we're exaggerating? Because he didn't look all that bad against, what's his name? Not Claudio. Can't believe I'm forgetting the guy's name. The African dude. Oh man, see, this is, I don't understand why at this time of the hour I start losing my my memory. What's going on? Not Tagoen, not Comey. Shout out to Quen Lesser, just posted it. Okay, shout out to him. Comey, yeah, Comey. Then again, Comey was also on the way out. So who knows, right? Barthélemy close to his 30s, close to his 40s, but he can crack. But I didn't like the way Ramirez reacted to those punches, man. He couldn't get away from that left hand. It was weird. It's just completely bizarre. And then after against Barboza getting outboxed for 12 rounds, I think there is a good indication and good evidence to support the fact that he might be past it. And he's only 32, by the way. But it's because he fights with so much energy and leaves it all in the ring that perhaps that's a possibility. Or maybe he can get a second win in his career. You never know. What are people in the chat saying, by the way? Hold on a sec. Dennis from Boston says, I thought Ramirez did pretty good against Arnold. You think so? You know, I have to rewatch it because, again, Dennis makes an interesting point because, like, as I mentioned earlier, Ramirez was cutting the ring off. He was getting close to him. He just couldn't pull the trigger enough or be sharp enough to inflict the type of damage necessary to wear down Barboza and you know, even win the fight. King Butcher says, people are asking if Ramirez is shot, but what about Haney? Well, that's the other thing, is he took a bit of a shellacking too. But the reason why I suspect Haney's probably going to be able to remain relatively the same is because, A, he's young. What is he, 26? I don't think he's even 27 yet. And, you know, he's taking a year off, so that could help him rest or recuperate. And then on top of that, he's got Victor Conte. Who knows what Victor Conte is giving him. So, I know the flip side to that coin is, say, listen, if you get your chin cracked, doesn't matter what they give you, you're never going to be the same again. But that's the question. Did he go through a career-altering beating in that fight? The other thing about Haney, though, is that even though his career has been somewhat manufactured, in a good way, by the way, I'm not saying he's a fraud or anything, but I'm just saying there's a couple of asterisks, slight asterisks in his career. Nevertheless, he has been fighting a relatively good level since 2018. So for about 8 years now, going back to 2018, he took on Mason Menard, Juan Carlos Burgos, Nongeni, who is still pulling off a couple of upsets during his time. He beat him in 2019. Antonio Moran, Zaur Abdullayev. So, okay, so people are saying, okay, those guys aren't pound for pound. No, but they're good, solid fighters that you find on the come-up. Then he fought Alfredo Santiago, who was undefeated at the time. Gamboa and Linares. Okay, but see, Linares cracked him. The Jojo Diaz fight was somewhat demanding as well. Then he had a vacation in Australia twice against George Kambosos Jr., very easy rather. Then the Lomachenko fight, that one was tough. Regis Prograis was easy, and then the Garcia fight, that's when he sort of got, whatever he went through there. So is that enough for him to sort of start feeling the effects? Because again, he's 26 years old. But like I said earlier, he's been fighting at a good high level for a couple of years. So what I'm trying to get at is he's almost already a young veteran. And these are the type of fighters now, we don't know how they're going to age. Because we're in this new generation of fighters like Lopez, like Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis. They fight twice a year. And so they don't accrue as many fights as other guys. So that could either be good or that could be bad. We don't know how these guys are going to look by the time they're in their late 20s, early 30s. So we shall see indeed what happens with Haney. But like I said, it's a stylistic matchup between him and Ramirez. Because again, I don't know if Haney can replicate what Barboza did. Maybe he won't have to move as much as Barboza did to outbox Ramirez. Maybe he'll clinch more. Remember, Haney's go-to move is to dip to his right side, dip below the waist, let his opponent come to him, smother himself, and then he'll clinch him. Hopefully the referee says something about that. And the other thing is, one final note on this fight, because we got a lot to cover. Phone lines are open, by the way, fellas. Left hand there in the left and middle portion of your screen. Call in, and hit that like. It really helps us out. One last note about Haney. There was an article in Ring TV about how he's embracing the bad guy rule. He's got no choice, by the way. I mean, he could either let it slide or he could play into it, which is what he's doing apparently. But, if you ask me about whether he's going to be out overlooking Ramirez, I doubt it. Because say what you want about Haney. He's a racist against, he said what he said about white people. So nowadays, that's all you need, right? All you need is words to castigate somebody as racist. So if we go by that, the bar that's been set, then you could say he's a racist. So that's why people dislike him. People also dislike him because of his father's antics. The fact that he didn't give Lomachenko a rematch. The selective matchmaking that's been going on. But what you want about the guy. I've never seen him show up out of shape for a fight. I've never seen him really overlook an opponent. I mean, you could argue that he was cherry-picking Garcia, but he showed up in shape for it. It's not like he ran out of gas or something midway through the fight. He just fought a guy finally that was his own size. And so what I'm trying to get at is, I think there's more of a risk for Garcia, we're going to get to him later, of him overlooking his opponents because he said he's done so in the past. It's coming straight from the horse's mouth. Whereas Haney, one thing you can say, okay, yeah, like I said, he might be a racist. His father's an asshole. He might be an asshole as well. He shed his pants in the Garcia fight. All of that is immaterial. The guy doesn't show up out of shape. The guy shows up in shape. So maybe the chances of him losing this fight against Ramirez, I think they're low. But again, this is boxing. You never know. That's why they fight the fights. See what people in the chat are saying. Super Sardonic says, true, but they really thought Ryan was spiraling and was finished. Yeah, I think that's what it seemed like to me, especially when they kept saying, we're not overlooking Ryan Garcia. We're not overlooking Ryan Garcia. It's like, okay, so you've heard that people are saying. So in a way, I mean, if he shows up in shape, that could probably tell you that he wasn't overlooking him. But I'm pretty sure maybe mentally they overlooked him, saying, because Haney, okay, look, again, Haney said we're not overlooking him. And it's true in a sense because Haney did show up in shape. However, Haney also said that Garcia didn't really bring much to the table other than a left hook. It was Haney's opinion that Garcia hadn't developed as a fighter ever since they fought in the amateurs, which is complete BS. Anybody who's been following Ryan Garcia's career, professional career, can see that he has evolved as a fighter. He used to be a counterpuncher who relied on his length and his speed to counter guys. And then when he hooked up with Reynoso, he became a hunter. He actually hunted guys down like Tagoe, like Campbell, Fortuna. So this whole thing about him not evolving, I mean, if I saw it, how come the Haneys didn't see it? So yeah, in a way, they overlooked Ryan Garcia. Let's go to a phone call here. Let's go to 301. 301, you're on the air. 301, what's on your mind?
What's up, BDA?
What's
It's
up?
interesting, good bit of matchmaking with this card, I have to say. A lot of kind of, as you've alluded to, question marks surrounding all these fighters. Yeah, I'm most interested in Barboza, Lopez. I think as you have, I think as you are, because it kind of allows for the most unexpected, or I guess it's the hardest one for me to kind of pick, because Barboza, he has skills, like I think you mentioned, he can cut the ring off pretty well. But I watched that, was it Tyrone McKenna or something, the Irish guy he fought on the undercard of Garcia, Haney, and man, like I was watching these rounds flying by. Like I don't think he didn't just win a round. Like I don't think he won a single minute of a single round. Like he was just getting countered. He was the guy could lead and hit him. He could counter and lead. He could move around. I mean, he just thoroughly and comprehensively outboxed him in one of the worst robberies I've ever seen.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't like some kind of amazing fight, and we know how boxing is, but it was still kind of shocking, like the degree of chicanery it takes to score that fight for Barboza. He looked absolutely useless and flat in that fight. I don't know if he had a bad weight cut, but he's fighting a guy who's also incredibly inconsistent. But I want to particularly think about Lopez's fight against Cambozo, because Cambozo, at least, I think he's faster, than Barboza. They got two Bozos. I think he's a little faster, quicker on the draw. He was able to control Lopez just with the 1-2 kind of moving around. I think, Barboza is more open to counters, as he falls in. I think that's kind of Lopez's, that's his bread and butter, is the counter guys, but he hasn't shown the kind of power that he had 135. So I would pick Lopez to win by decision, because I think he'll be able to crack Barboza. I don't think he'll be able to really badly hurt him, but I think he'll kind of tame him. Barboza's never shown that kind of like go-getter energy to, finish a guy when it's a little bit hard, like when he has to push past the barrier,
right,
and go get his man. He can. And on that note, that Jose Ramirez is that kind of fighter where his best performances were like Maurice Hooker, when he, redlined it and got the guy out of there. That was a good performance. But he's also been very inconsistent throughout his career. I think back to like even the Zepeda fight and the Postol fights. He didn't look all that impressive. The Zepeda fight, I think he lost. That was well before his title run. And now that he's had this streak of bad performances, looking flat, looking hesitant, unsure of himself, I think a guy like Haney, who can move around, jab him, has length and reach. It's not like Ramirez can just cold cock him with a left hook like Garcia does, because he doesn't have the size. And he does fall in. And, I think Haney could maybe even drop him. So it's kind of like a question, like, does he want to eat punches and, salvage his career? From just kind of the energy I've been reading this guy, I would say no. I would say that he just kind of also has a flat performance. He just collects his money, accepts his role as a gatekeeper, whatever name, maybe gets a couple more fights with Hearn, and just kind of, fly under the radar into his, he lives out there in that valley, right, where they grow almonds or pistachios or whatever.
Yeah.
You can go back out there.
Nah, come on. No, but wait a minute. I thought he was with Golden Boy. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, he is?
I don't know.
Well,
I'm asking you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Well, I guess what I meant is, I think if he shows a kind of willingness to, move around with a guy and test him a bit, or just, give them like the credence of a name on the resume. I mean, Eddie Hearn will be willing to put his other fighters against him, just because he's a guy that he knows he can work with.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of these kinds of implicit agreements in boxing. And I think Ramirez is the kind of guy to go along with it, because he's not that hungry.
I mean, we'll see.
But,
I mean, that's the big question right there. That is a big question, man. I mean, how much is he going to... How much does he have left? How much do both guys have left? It's an interesting fight.
Well, how much does he want it, right? I mean, I think Haney has, I don't know about his chin, but he has enough to jab. I know that, right? He's young enough. It's not like his skills have diminished overnight. As long as he's fighting a guy who's much smaller than him in terms of reach and size, he tends to be able to pull it off, right? All he has to do is keep touching, right?
That maybe.
He's gotten a little sharper to a 140. It's 147, right?
Yeah, I think it's a catch weight.
Their weights.
Yeah, it's a catch
Definitely
weight.
favors Haney.
Now, I got to ask you,
this
though.
This guy Haney's going to be like 175 in the ring, right?
Yeah, that's the thing, though. All these guys are heavy. This Irish Andrew Ward, right? On the line?
Yeah.
Okay,
the one and only.
The one and only, yes, of course.
I know. I haven't called in a while. I know the show has been kind of stale without me. I'm sorry.
Actually, I was about to say, that's why we were having good shows. But anyway, I got to get your final prediction.
All right.
Garcia Romero, who do you have winning that one?
Garcia Romero, I got Garcia. You know, the Fonseca knockout is something I'm thinking about because Romero jumps over his feet as he lunges in. You know, that's how he fought against Tank. He lost that Martinez fight, like again, another blatant robbery. I don't see him pulling it off. Yeah, I think he's going to get knocked out. I think that'll be the most entertaining fight of the night. I think it's kind of pretty much everyone's going to have like a similar opinion in terms of entertainment value. Although I do want to say that Ben Eubank fight, that definitely delivered. You know, I think the Brits, they're having like this renaissance of has been, you know, kind of washed out fighter trying to relive the glory of the good old days. You know, they had Kell Brook, Amir Khan. That was actually a great fight. Like, I really enjoyed it. All the lead up, all the nonsense. I still remember, like, the feeling on Khan's, the look on Khan's face and the feeling I got, because I could just see him having a panic attack on his way to the ring. Like, his legs weren't working. And I was like, oh, man, I was starting to feel bad. Like, I was starting to live vicariously through him. Like, oh, man. That was,
and by the way,
he looked a roller coaster of emotions.
When he walked through the ambulances and touched one of them, it's almost he was touching to say, "Okay, it's real. Okay, I'm good." Like he wanted to make sure the ambulance was there because he knew what was about to happen.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, man, you're right, man.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
right.
Yeah, I remember that he was checking like it was the ambulance.
He's like, "Okay, it's there. I'm safe. I'm gonna have a ride to the hospital after this." But yeah, man, listen, it's gonna be a good card. Yeah. We're gonna be doing another show tomorrow, so make sure to call in tomorrow if the phone lines are open, and we'll talk about some of the other fights. But for the moment, we do have to move on.
Yeah, Cardenas and Inoue, right?
Yeah.
It's a jam-packed weekend. What is the Inoue fight on Friday?
Sunday.
What's the schedule? Oh, it's Sunday. Okay, so we get Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we get morning Sunday, right? Oh, no, it's Vegas. It's Vegas.
The only thing I dislike is that, yes, since it's on the West Coast, the Inoue fight, and it's on ESPN, again, it says...
It's going to end late, yeah.
Relatively late, so, I mean, whatever. I'm used to it now.
Man, you're right. ESPN really, like, they can't get it done. I don't know what it is because they have the UFC, right? They run a pretty smooth operation. And Turkey's been running a pretty good turnout. I think he kind of learned his lesson from the first shows that he did where he had all the singing and dancing. And he's like, okay, people obviously don't want this. They just want the fights coming out quicker.
Exactly.
He's been having a pretty good schedule of getting these guys out of there. But ESPN, I mean, he's sitting there sometimes 40 minutes in between fights. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm watching the same promo they've screened for hours.
They gotta get Kriegel in there.
Filibustering.
They gotta get Kriegel in there. That mortician-looking guy in there to ask you his questions. Let me ask you a question. Shut up. I don't want to hear your questions.
Yeah. And he starts asking about all their personal lives. We're talking about guys like, 5 fights on the undercard. He's never even heard their names. And he's like, yeah, you said your mother.
Yeah, he's probing into their lives. Like, your mother spanked you.
Why is there an interview?
Yeah, your mother spanked you once.
Get an interview,
I mean, I don't know. It's weird. Because he's a writer by trade, so he thinks he's got to be a journalist every time he talks to one of these nobodies. Yeah. But listen, Irish Andrew Ward, good points. Call back tomorrow. Catch you on the next one, right, man?
No.
All right, take it easy.
You know what it is, BDA? Okay, well, just one quick thing. You know what it is? We lack media literacy. We don't really understand how to interpret these things like these libtards do.
Oh, come on. All right.
Okay.
All right, take it easy, Irish Andrew Ward. All right, man.
All right,
You too, man. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't even. Some people say media literacy doesn't exist. I know for a fact it exists. And yeah, some people don't have it. It's true. Some people are unable to discern between what they're seeing and reality. They think everything they're seeing is reality. It can't be duped. It can't be manipulated. It's gotta be the unadulterated, unfiltered truth, and that's not how it works. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat right now listening. Don't forget to hit the like, hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. It really helps us out. Phone number is right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. I'm gonna put it up on the marquee here. Look at that. Look at that. We're taking down predictions. It's a call-in show. You guys get to call in, give us your thoughts on anything and everything boxing. And if you want to drop a couple of shekels on the way, don't forget to do so. In fact, you are encouraged to do so. By the way, right now it's getting warm here finally in Canada. It's 20 degrees Celsius today. So I got my window open. Neighborhood kids are playing. So if you hear some screaming, now I don't have anybody locked up in the basement. I don't do that anymore. And by the way, that basement's soundproof. So even if I did have people there, of course you wouldn't hear it. And of course I'm kidding now. Come on. What do you guys think, huh? Think I'm a nut job? Is that what you think? Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. But yeah, I can't stress that enough. I'm not gonna threaten people today, but that's the way it goes, man. You gotta hit that like either way because it does help us out with the algorithms, and it takes 2 seconds to do so. All right, make sure to do that. Like I was saying, yeah, Mr. BDA is no crazy bastard. I mean, I'm a little bit crazy, but not kidnap people crazy, all right? I am not that type of person. In fact, I know for some reason I'm having flashbacks here. Anyway, let's get back with the show, fellas. It's a boxing show. We're talking about Garcia Ramirez. Okay, so, I mean, not Garcia Ramirez, Haney Ramirez. We'll see what happens with that fight. I want to see if Haney can actually. You guys tell me in the chat or call in and let me know. What's the fight where you've seen Haney at his most mobile, where he's actually moving and really not shuffling the feet, but actually, lateral movement, sticking and moving. I don't recall him again when he fought Prograis. He would take little steps back, which I can enjoy, by the way. I enjoy that type of boxing rather than the guy who runs for 30 seconds at a clip, throws one little tap, and then clinches or keeps on running for 3 more seconds. That is illegal. That is a guy who's trying to run out the clock and finding the most negative style possible. That's what it is. So Haney doesn't really do it that way. He is an ass fighter. He is an ass fighter by virtue of the fact, like I said earlier, he dips down below the waist and clinches a lot. But for the most part, he's not too much of a runner. So that's going to be interesting to see whether he can pull that off. That type of boxing, relatively controlled boxing style against Ramirez. Then we've got the fight that, like Irish Andrew Ward said, that's the fight that most people are intrigued by because it's the one with the real title on the line, the undisputed junior welterweight championship, Lopez versus Barboza Jr. That's a very intriguing fight, I got to tell you. And right off the bat, I'm telling you, I'm picking Lopez to win this one. Yes, he has trouble against movers, people that don't commit. He's not the greatest at cutting the ring off or even getting near his opponents when they're on the back foot. But like Irish Andrew Ward said, people are comparing Barboza to Kambosos. I think actually Kambosos, first of all, he's a smaller guy. And because of that, or perhaps because of that, largely, he is quicker than Barboza. Barboza is actually... So what I'm trying to get at here is if you watch Lopez versus Kambosos, if you watch Lopez versus Kambosos back from 2021, there's not that much of a speed difference. I mean, yeah, I think Lopez was actually a little bit faster, but the speed was comparable. Barboza is slower than Lopez. And say what you want about Lopez not scoring knockouts, I think we can say with some certainty that his punches appear to have a bit more wallop than Barboza's. In fact, I would dare say more than just a little bit. And again, it might be difficult to explain or articulate properly, but I'm looking at the way his opponents reacted, the way he makes head swivel. Yeah, he couldn't stop Claggett, but he laid him a beating, and he was twisting his head back and forth. I don't think there's too many come forward fighters that could have done that. I mean, Campa couldn't do it. And then Campa ended up giving Brandon Lee all he could handle at welterweight. So Lopez can crack. There's a reason why Jermaine Ortiz fought him the way he did. And it's not because Lopez is a powder puff puncher. Barboza's other problem is that I suspect he might end up getting intimidated by Lopez's hand speed. Because it's similar styles. They're both boxer punchers. or, so if there's not a lot of action going on, what is Barboza gonna do? If he tries, I suspect he's gonna try to box from the get-go, like he did against Ramirez, which is he's gonna be moving laterally. But then at some point he might end up realizing, hey, you know what? I can't catch this guy enough to take the titles, definitively take the titles away from him. So maybe he's gonna try to commit more, and by doing so, I think he's gonna find out that it's easier said than done to do so against Lopez. Then again, one of Barboza's strengths is that he's got the patience of a saint, an ascetic saint. This guy will not engage unless it's absolutely necessary to do so. Case in point, the Catterall fight, which I thought Catterall was going to win. And it was a very boring fight because neither guy was doing much. That's because Barboza and Catterall are boring fighters, but neither one wanted to overcommit. But that's the other thing with Barboza. With different sets of judges, I don't think he wins that fight all the time. If they hold the fights 5 times with different judges, I think the judges see it different ways, those 5 times. So it's not like he's cool with Catterall. And by the way, let me just say one final thing about Catterall. Catterall is a one-handed puncher. It's mostly the left hand. Lopez can strike with both hands. He can dip to the side and counter with left hooks, left uppercuts. Same thing with the right hand side. He can slip and counter with the straight right or those mean right hand uppercuts. So I give the edge to Lopez, seeing as how he's got the superior arsenal in terms of speed and power. The skill level might be comparable, but because by virtue of the fact that Lopez and Barboza have similar skill sets, but that Lopez has the more flashier hands rather, and a little bit heavier ordnance, I think he's gonna end up winning this one. But again, don't be surprised if it's a close fight like the Catterall fight and they give it to Barboza. Because Barboza's one, he got a bit, like Irish Hunter Ward said, he got a gift against McKenna. Close decision against Catterall. There's another guy in this division, Puello. Puello's best wins have all been split decisions or majority decisions. But for some gosh darn reason, the judges keep giving him the fight. So it could be the same thing with Barboza. Maybe the judges enjoy watching what he has to offer. I don't know. Maybe he has that it factor with the judges. Fellas, don't forget to call in. The left hand, the phone number's in the left hand portion of your screen. Call in. This is your show. Don't leave me hanging here. Phone number's right there in the right there in the middle, marquee. Call in and hit that like. Where are we at with the likes? 105 people watching. We got 46 likes. Now listen, I said I wasn't going to threaten today with the hitting the likes, and otherwise I do something. But I gotta say, I gotta confer here with you guys and tell you that 47 likes is unacceptable. Let's get it up to at least 70 likes. 23 people hit that like. We're golden. Just 23 people right now. Click that. It takes 2 seconds. If we're not at 70 by in about 5 minutes from now, I will have to take drastic measures. And I already know people say, "Oh well, let's wait and see what he does." You don't want to wait and see what I do. Trust me. I'm gonna whip something out, and I'm gonna smack it against the microphone. That's all you're gonna hear for minutes at that time until I see that like meter hit the 70. The 70 like mark. We're at 52. Come on, people. 18 more people hit that like, and we're golden. It's gold, Jerry. Gold. All right. So that's what we've got with Lopez versus what's his name? Versus Barboza. Interesting too, because Barboza's trained by his father, and it'll be interesting to see whether Lopez fights with his father in the corner. Because there were talks that he was going to have Reynoso, and then of course weeks ago we learned that wasn't going to happen. So who's training him now, by the way? It's still his father, right? Maybe I'm out of the loop a little bit here. Teofimo Lopez trainer. It's fucking AI overview. That's why I don't trust this so-called AI, which isn't even real AI. Hence, so-called. If you go on Google and you write Teofimo Lopez trainer, it's Eddie Reynoso. What are they talking about? It's not Eddie Reynoso. Who is it, guys? Let us know in the chat. Or let me know, rather. It's me by my lonesome today. What the hell is this? Did you guys see this picture on Instagram? What is this? Why does he have a towel on his head? He looks like he just came out of Jerusalem or something. And he's got, look at that, he's got the Auschwitz pants. Why are people, I've mentioned Parallel 8, shout out to Parallel 8, who's a channel, real boxing fan, you can tell. He travels across the United States, gyms all over the United States, and films training, but particularly sparring sessions between young amateurs and sometimes professionals. Great content. So there was one guy who's called he's a Hispanic kid. I think he's only 16 or something. I think he fights at 118 pounds or something. Well, I don't know what the weights are at amateur, probably like 116 or something. He's very thin but tall for his division. He's very good, by the way, and they call him pijama. They say in English, but they write it as if it's in Spanish, pijama. Pijama Lopez or something. That's what he spars with fucking pajamas on, PJs, those type of pants. So I don't know. And then I was watching another guy training. I forget who he was. He was a pro fighter, I think. He was wearing pajama pants too. So I think that's going to be the new style now. I don't know if they're cotton pants or whatever. Maybe they're comfortable, but they're a little bit too wide. Maybe that's why people enjoy them. The air circulates better there. Because remember, for a little while, he was wearing those tight-ass pants, the Under Armour tights or whatever they call it, like the long johns that you wear during the winter. I think now people are transitioning away from that. Don't forget to hit that like, fellas. Hit that like. Really helps us out. Let's go to the phone lines here. Let's go to 669. 669, you're on the air. 669, what's on your mind?
Yo, what's up? It's your BDA.
What's up, 669? What's on your mind?
I just want to say this to I think it was Gonzalo said that, like, I was watching the Ramirez fight, like, when he fought Warrington.
Uh-huh.
And Warrington just put his hands on him, like, since round one. It seemed like Ramirez was scared. I don't know what was wrong with him.
Warrington?
And then when he fought Barboza, he lost.
You're confused.
Sorry,
Are you referring?
Ramirez wasn't scared.
You're talking about the Ramirez-Taylor fight?
Yeah, Taylor, there you go.
Okay,
I got the name wrong.
That's all right. Go ahead, yeah.
And I was curious to see what was happening at the time, and I started looking through his Instagram and TikTok and stuff, and dude was partying every week, bro.
What?
Every week. So there's a reason why he lost that fight, and there's a reason why he's on the decline.
Huh. I didn't know that. Wait, hold on. So on his Instagram, Jose Ramirez, the guy who's supposed to be
on his TikTok, people were always like tagging him, like, "Oh, let's go out, let's do this."
Okay, people were tagging him, but that doesn't mean he acquiesced and went out.
Yeah, but no, there's like one picture specifically I'm thinking about where he is at a party. He's clearly drunk.
I don't know, caller. This sounds like fake news to me. We need some evidence to corroborate your claims.
I'll put some evidence on the VDA Discord later.
Hey, by the way, just again, I'm not completely disputing what you're saying, but what I'm saying is you got to be careful on the internet age. A picture could be from any other time. You know what I mean? Could have been after a fight. Could have been 2 days after. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily mean it was during training.
I'm just saying, you know what alcohol does to the body, right? Like, we've seen it multiple times. When the boxer starts drinking, it's over for the career.
Right. Yeah, personally, I don't know because I don't touch that. I'm on the true path of the Crimson Cross. But you're right, yeah, for the most part. And Jimmy was telling us that, caller. Jimmy was telling us off the air. I don't know if I got the chance to mention this on the air, but I'll tell you this right now, an exclusive. Jimmy told us off the air that people who drink, studies have shown that if you trained for one, like the day, right? So you had a 2-hour training session, for example, or an hour and a half, whatever, intense boxing session. And then you get plastered on that day drinking alcohol, you will lose the gains that you should have gotten from that training. Now, he says if you get really hammered to the point where, you got to be carried around and you're slurring your words, that nullifies a week's worth of training. What do you think about that?
I believe it because, you know what alcohol is? It's just toxins, right? Toxins are bad for the body. That inflames your body. So inflammation in your body is horrible. That's what causes cancer. That's what causes a lot of problems in the body. It weakens you.
You're absolutely right, caller.
So, yeah, I 100% believe in Jimmy there.
There you go, man. Yeah. So you think you're not one of those hopefuls that believes that Ramirez could turn back the clock. So is it safe in assuming you're picking
really.
Haney to win that one, right?
Yeah, of course.
Let me write down your prediction, caller. Who is
this,
and even
if he doesn't win it, they're going to give it to him because they want that Ryan fight so bad. Just look at the ad. Just look at everything. They want that fight. They want that fight so bad, man.
Excellent point. I hate to think that way, but after 30-something years watching boxing, that's conditioned to agree with you. Who is this, by the way? What do I write on your predictions? What do we call you?
My name is Vessel.
Oh, Vessel. Okay, shout out to Vessel. Yeah. All right, Vessel. You've got Haney by what decision?
Yeah, by decision.
All right. What about the other fight here? Lopez versus Barboza.
I don't know why, but I feel like that's going to be an upset. I really do. I don't know why. I keep feeling that.
Is it a feeling like Haney's little brother, Allah, divine intervention, or just a regular feeling?
No, none of that Allah garbage.
Come on, wait a minute, garbage.
I mean, come on, Allah's a demon. Look it up.
No, wait a minute. Did you miss the fact that Allah is the one true God and Muhammad is his prophet? You must have missed that one, right?
You know, in the Quran it says Allah is the master deceiver. Well, who else is the master deceiver? All right, that's it.
Come on. All right, go ahead. So Lopez Barboza, you're saying Barboza upset?
Yeah, Barboza upset. Unanimous decision. I think he outpoints this guy.
Whoa. Now, easy breezy, or you think he's going to have to really work for it?
No, I think he's going to work for it, but it's Barboza's, this is his make or break fight. After this, he's already old, man. I mean, he's been working all his career to try to get this shot, so why not? Maybe he does show out.
We'll see, man. We'll see. All right, Garcia Romero.
Oh, come on.
What do you mean, come on? What?
Raleigh's autistic or something. I don't know what's wrong with that guy.
I mean, he may be what he is, but he's still a heavy-handed, strong boxer. So, what say you?
That's true. He got that R-word strength. R-word strength.
Come on, man. Come on.
Ryan knocks him out, 7th or 8th.
Oh, okay. Garcia KO 7 or 8, you said?
Let's say 8.
All right.
Yeah.
That's what I like. The more precision, the better I enjoy these predictions. It's almost like Rolly Romero. He likes precision. Remember when that woman accused him, it was a fat girl, right? Accused him that they were in a car and Romero grabbed her by the back of the head and tried to ram his cock down her throat. Remember that one?
That's very precise, yeah.
Man, that's as precise as it gets, man. Let me tell you, very accurate. All right. So you got Garcia KO in the 8th, Barboza upset unanimous decision, and you got Haney by decision. Anything else you want to say, Vessel, before we move on?
Last thing.
Sure.
Solidus, I'm calling you out. This is a formal call out.
Is there somebody having a dry heaving in the background? What's going on?
Yeah, it's my father. He's dying of something. I don't know what he's dying of.
Come on. He's got the swine flu. All right, so you're calling us Solitis. I don't even think that's the real...
Influenza or something.
Yeah. I don't even think that's the real Solitis in the chat, by the way. But hey, listen, the gauntlet has been thrown, so he better step up, right?
Oh, I know he hate watches this. I know for a fact he hate watches this. So Solidus, I know you're hate watching this. Stop being a bitch. Stop running away from the smoke. I'm calling you out.
I mean, when you say stop being a bitch, you're asking for too much, man. I think you're asking for too much. At least tell him to slow down the bitch-assness a little bit.
Yeah. Stop,
there you go.
Slow down the ass shaking for a bit. And come on.
The ass shaking. All right, Vessel, man. Thank you for your call, and take it easy out there.
All right, take care.
All right, man. That was a Vessel right there calling in. Don't forget to call in, fellas. The phone number is right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. Make sure to hit the like. Phone number marquee now. Where are we at with the likes? I asked for 70 likes. We're at 60 likes. I mean, come on. 10 more people hit that like. That's all I asked for. We were at 16 before. That's all I was asking for. And people still won't call in? I mean, people still want to hit the like? Unacceptable. So you guys push me to this. That's all I'm going to say. You guys push me to this. We're going to have to read from something. But first, let me read a super chat here. And then you'll have to feel my wrath. I mean, it's not even my wrath. It's the wrath of God through me. He's a vessel, if you will, one of his instruments. The power doesn't come from me, fellas. It comes from God. The nearer I get to the true path, on the true path to the Crimson Cross, whatever. Where's the like here? All right. Salute to Gene Ryu Jr. 33. I don't like those numbers, by the way. He says, salute BDA, some shekels to show my appreciation. I think Ryan's going to end Rolly's career. KO under 6. Ryan going to destroy that. Ryan is going to destroy that taint. All right, so very specific You know, people talk about low blows. They don't talk enough about the deadly taint blow. I learned the deadly taint blow when I was in the Himalayas, a mystery temple in the mountains. I was taught that by some Tibetan monks. And I only used that punch for good, and I've only used it once because it's so powerful that it can even destroy my taint. So I try to, I got an aversion to it, but it exists. And Ryu Jr. 33 is right on the money on that one. Shout out to him for his contribution. Don't forget to hit the like, and if you feel like donating, you can do so with the shekel factor here on Super Chats, or you can donate shekels on our Buy Me a Coffee app, or join the membership program. Prediction League. All right, so Jin Ryu says KO under 6 for Ryan Garcia. Notice he called him Ryan. Again, it's interesting. Ryan Garcia, when people doubt his star factor, think about this. The guy got caught with Osterine. In a couple of fights prior to that, he took a knee and quit. Okay, yeah, he was compromised. So what? He took a knee and then it looked like he could have gotten up. He didn't. That was also Jimmy's expert opinion. So I concur with Jimmy. And despite all of that, people still like him. More than Haney. And that's the mystery that some of these geniuses on Twitter can't grasp. But hold on. Jin Ryu Jr. 33. Garcia KO under 6. Shout out to Jin Ryu for his contribution, man. Really appreciate it. We will enjoy those shekels. They will be going to a good cause. Believe me. Yeah, some of these people on Twitter, oh my God, why do people hate Haney? Why do people hate Haney? Do I gotta spell it out for people? First of all, hanging out with Diddy. Lord knows what was going on there. Shinny his pants in a fight didn't help either. His father does a lot of talking for him. And the one that people would just refuse to keep bringing up, it seems like they don't want to touch that one, is the fact that he said, I would never lose to a white boy. And people say, well, what about Ryan Garcia? What about him? He said a couple of mean words. Okay, if you want to be offended by that, you have I'm not going to tell people don't be offended. People get offended by different things, and those type of words and the incendiary language he used, I can understand why people would be upset by that. But in my mind, the Haney thing too was equally, if not more so, because he was throwing a whole race down the drain. Think about it. What's worse? Or in equal measure, I just want people to ponder this. Ryan Garcia said words. Okay, like I said, highly insulting words. He's a fuck-up. Devin Haney, another fuck-up, says, I would never lose to a white guy. What's the implication there? The implication is that white people are so inferior to black people, or Afro-Anglos rather in this case, that it would be disgusting to lose and humiliating to lose to a white person, or a Caucasoid, as we like to call him here on the BDA podcast. Come on. But for some reason, people don't want to touch him. They go after Ryan Garcia, and with good measure. Like I said, that kid's he's got a twisted mind. But so does Haney. And for some reason, but him, what happened? What did he say? That's what people do. What did he say again? Like they don't know. And then on top of that, like I say, he hangs out with Diddy. Who knows what was going on in there? People say, well, what if he was enjoying some man-on-man type of action? That's what people say. Well, what if Devin Haney was greasing the bacon, like they say in the industry? Well, what if Devin Haney and P. Diddy and others? Okay, what if? You know, what if they were doing some shenanigans, some hijinks? What if, right? And I agree. But then don't play up this Muslim angle, because you can't be a homosexual and be a Muslim. You can't. So again, hypocrisy. I was recently watching that Martin Scorsese show about the saints that he produced. And John the Baptist says, God hates hypocrites. He abhors them. He will forgive them, but there's something askew about hypocrites. Anyway, don't forget to call in, fellas. Call in. Hey, look at that, 72 likes. As I was rambling, I forgot to check the likes. And yeah, shout out to you guys. Shout out to you, to all of those who hit the like. Really appreciate it, because it really does help us out with the algorithms. Don't get it. I'm not just asking you to hit the like for the fun of it. It does help us out with the algorithms. So shout out to all of you guys. Let's go to the phone lines here. Let's go to 267. 267, you're on the air. 267, what's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, BDA? So I think for this Times Square card, I think mostly like my predictions, I think all the quote unquote like A-side fighters they're all going to win these fights. They're not really. I don't know. I just don't think they're compelling fights like that. I mean, I'm sorry, Haney. So like Haney and Ramirez. I mean, Ramirez has Robert Garcia training him, I guess, for this fight. I don't know if he's with him before, but Garcia's training with him. But you know, like Haney has spent like the last how many months since the Ryan Garcia debacle, like just getting trashed, you know, and he's like one of these guys that his ego is pretty important to him. So I think that's enough to get him really focused to bring his best into this thing. And the one thing that gives Haney probably the most trouble is like people that make him fight at a faster pace than what he's comfortable at. I mean, Ryan Garcia beat him because he forced the pace to be much, much quicker than what Haney's used to. And if you look at all of his past fights, his last 4 or 5 fights, let's say, to be most relevant, you know, all those guys were like kind of flawed in one way or the other. And in the Loma fight, Loma was like showing like shades of like, you know, prime Loma, where he was pouring on the pressure with his punches. He was changing angles, and he legitimately had like Haney turning around in circles at moments in that fight. And Haney didn't know what to do. He was just trying to get a control in the situation. He couldn't get a grip. And, you know, Loma was just older and he's undersized for the division, and Haney is oversized for the division. If Loma was like any other younger fighter who had more crack in his punches, you know, Haney probably would have suffered some knockdowns in that fight, you know, and like, I just don't think Ramirez, you know, he's just not you can't train speed, you know, either you're quick or you're not. And I don't think Ramirez has like, he doesn't have that speed and explosiveness to quickly close the distance, force Haney to grab or do something. He just doesn't have that quickness, that explosiveness to close the distance to really give Haney problems. I think he's just too slow.
Yeah, you know, that's the outlook that a lot of people have. By the way, who is this? Because I got to write down your predictions here. Why do I write down?
I'm sorry. I've called in a couple of times before. It's James the Fight Fan.
St. James the Fight Fan. All right, St. James. I'm just gonna write down. Yeah. I'm just gonna write down that you say.
I mean, I think Haney's gonna win by decision.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's one of the. I'm just gonna write down that you believe all the A sides win. Right? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You know, and like I can't remember what was the. Yeah, I mean, all the A sides are gonna win. Teofimo and Barboza. You know, in that fight against Ramirez, Barboza and Ramirez were both fighting kind of the same fight, and they were both pretty matched on quickness and speed. And they were trying to work off each other's counters, and they were fighting a mid-range fight, and Barboza was just kind of getting the better of it. But Barboza is maybe a little bit faster, I think, than Ramirez in his hands and his feet. But if he decides that he wants to fight a mid-range fight, Teo, for all his flaws, is explosive. And I agree with what you were saying, that he maybe was struggling to get knockouts in his last few fights, but that doesn't mean the guys he was hitting weren't getting hurt. It doesn't mean that they weren't feeling it. And Barboza's a pretty durable guy, but if he chooses to fight a mid-range fight against Teo, I mean, that is Teo, where Teo's fighting in the pocket and working off counters. I mean, he's going to get the better of it, I think, and Teo's he's going to show up too, because he knows he's been getting a lot of shit. These are all fighters that have been getting a lot of shit for a while, and you know, I think to the Ben Whitaker Liam Cameron fight that would just happen a couple weeks ago.
Sure.
Ben Whitaker, same thing as Devin Haney's been getting shit on for like the last number of months, and when he showed up when going into this fight, I figured Ben Whitaker was going to come in focus and was going to win this fight. Right. And he did. He looked much better. He looked focused, and he looked better. I mean, shame is enough to make to focus a man's mind sometimes.
That's true. That's very true. The other thing is, what do you think if Barboza gets on the back foot like he did against Ramirez? What do you think could happen there?
If he does, if he uses his footwork and his countering effectively, he's gonna make Tio look less spectacular. If Tio has to figure out where you're going, and if Tio has to figure out where you're going and he has to go out and find you, he's gonna just look the way he looks, like against like in the Jermaine Ortiz fight, and he just doesn't. His footwork is terrible,
Right.
So if he does that and he's controlling the range effectively and can get out of the way before Tio explodes and uses angles, yeah, he could probably make Tio look a little less spectacular. But I do think Tio is still quick enough to get to Barboza, because I don't think Barboza's footwork is good enough to dance circles around him. He could run. If he runs, that's one thing, but I don't think he will. I don't think Barboza will run like that. He's not going to run like Edwin De Los Santos or something in that.
Hopefully not, man.
He's not going to run like that.
Hopefully not, because
I hope so. And
when that Barboza versus Ramirez fight took place live, I was falling asleep, man. Because we had an exciting fight between Farmer
that fight was
and
terrible.
Cepeda. Yeah, Cepeda and Farmer had given us a good show. So did Collazo, and then that fight comes along. You're like, oh man, when is this gonna end? Because it was just one round after the other, the same thing over and over.
Yeah, it was just two guys that were at least they weren't running from each other, and it wasn't a grab fest. It was just neither guy is a particularly spectacular. They're just kind of like, I don't know. They're not dynamic fighters. It was pretty boring. It was a terrible fight to watch. It wasn't good by any means.
Yeah, you're right, caller. You're right.
And Rolly Romero. Rolly Romero, that dude hasn't, he does have size and he does have some crack. But if you think about his last few fights, the same thing. His last 4 or 5 fights, the last time he looked good was the first 2-3 rounds of the Tank Davis fight. And since then he ended up getting knocked out in spectacular fashion. And then he got that gift decision. He was getting beat up by Ismael Barroso. And then got that gift decision, that gift stoppage, and then he got the shit beat out of him by Pitbull Cruz. Rolly seems to be getting worse with every fight he has, and Ryan's gonna knock him out.
He's got obvious brain damage. He's already been accused of sexual assault before, and people who have brain damage usually have inhibited impulse control. So hopefully we don't see Romero trying to sexually assault Ryan Garcia in there with some groping or whatever, because that's not what I paid to see. But listen, St. James, we got to move on here, but thank you for your call, and call back next time, right, man? Good call.
All right, thanks.
All right, take it easy, man. All right, fellas, don't forget to hit that like. Really helps us out. Let's go to a phone call here. Let's go to 917. 917, you're on the air. 917, what's on your mind?
Yes, hello?
Yes, 917, you're on the air.
Yes, so you guys were talking about Devin Haney before. Was that the one you were saying that was a hypocrite, not a real Muslim?
I mean, that's the way he seems to me, man. I doubt that he's really that pious.
Well, guess what? I agree with you.
Oh, wait a minute. What? I don't know if that's a good thing, caller, but go ahead. Caller, you're still in the air, man. All right. I think hopefully the call is all right. He hung up, hopefully he hung up of his own volition. Because if not, then that probably means there was some divine intervention. And if so, I gotta watch my keister, mister. Hey, remember like they said in the Crusades, before Saladin took over, the Christians used to say, convert now, repent later. I don't even know if they actually said that. I got that from Kingdom of Heaven. The director's cut, by the way, not the silly theatrical cut, which makes no sense. Fellas, don't forget to hit that like. Phone number's right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. Make sure to call in. Phone number right there. Hold on a second. Right there in the marquee. Look at that. Doesn't get any better than that. You call in, you have a good time. You expose yourself to the fans out there. When I say expose, I mean you give us your viewpoints. That's what I meant, of course. What else? What else? What else? You know what? So much is going on this weekend. We haven't even gotten to. We haven't even finished getting through the first card. So what we've got then is Lopez versus Barboza. That's an intriguing fight. Some people are split on it a little bit. Then we get to the main event: Ryan Garcia versus Rolando Rolly Romero. Romero does look like he doesn't really. I think he's calm under pressure because he just doesn't realize where he's at. I think that's really what plays into Romero's favor. Garcia, on the other hand, I've said it since this fight was announced. I don't know how he's going to look. Everyone's all hung up on Haney. How's he going to look? Again, Haney is a disciplined fighter. Garcia is not. He said it himself. For the Tank Davis fan, I don't know if I really believed it, right? Because it could have been an excuse, could have been BS. But then for the Haney fight, he shows up out of shape. That wasn't pre-planned. Tim Bradley says he's got inside information that the guy wasn't training properly, and hence he would explain why Garcia was on that deostrine, right? So that makes sense that the puzzle pieces start fitting when you look at it from that perspective. Let's go to the what's it called? Oh yeah, the wild card line. We got a wild card caller here. Let's see who this is. Anonymous, you're on the air. Anonymous, what's on your mind?
Hello?
Yes, Anonymous, you're on the air.
Okay. All right, so I think Ryan Garcia is gonna win.
Uh-huh.
I think he should win easily. I'm going for Teofimo. I don't know about the other. I think all the A sides should win except I'm hoping Devin Haney doesn't win. I think he's boring.
Oh, come on.
I want him to lose.
But you think he's gonna win?
Honestly, I don't know the other guy. I don't know the B-side people. I don't know except Rolly Romero. I like him. I think he's fun to watch. I like him, but I like Ryan more, and I think he should win.
What about Lopez Barboza, Anon? Who do you have winning that one?
I think I like Lopez. I don't know much about Barboza, to be honest with you. Barboza looks like he's bigger, but I haven't seen him fight. But that one should be a good one. And I like Teo. I like him.
Mm-hmm. You like him. Who do you like more out of all these fighters, these 6 fighters on this card?
I like Ryan Garcia the most. I'm assuming he's the most popular, and I'm guessing that's why they have him like as the last fighter, like the main event, I guess. Even though it's like a triple header main event, but I think obviously they have Ryan at the end for a reason.
Yeah, he's certainly the bigger name, absolutely. Are you going to be buying the card?
I'm gonna go watch it for free at Twin Peaks in Miami.
Wait a minute, that's a very specific
even if I gotta stand outside like I did before, I'll just stand outside and watch it with my buddies, and we'll bring our own alcohol from somewhere else.
Have you ever seen the movie? I forget. Anyway, forget about it. I was gonna bring up a stupid reference. They're all stupid. What do you want from me? All right, so you're gonna be watching it at Twin Peaks. Is that the one with the hot waitresses?
Yes, of course. You have to.
And do you like the waitresses?
Absolutely. I'm as corny as it gets, man. I'm hitting on them. I think they all love me, but they just want the big tips.
Well, listen, you play your cards right, you might be giving them another type of tip, if you know what I mean. Do you do well with the ladies?
I'm pretty good, I think. I'm average, above average.
Well, everybody says that about themselves. Like, I'm not saying you're lying, but if you look at yourself in the mirror right now, would you say, yeah, 7, 8, 7, 6, 7, or are you at a 5?
I'm a little bit of average, but I have my way with words, and sometimes the money talks. I don't have money like that, but if you pretend that you got money like that and you have a little bit for the alcohol.
Hey, listen, I'm the prime example of that. Fake it till you make it. Let me tell you. And you gotta look max too. By the way, you gotta look max. Get yourself a decent haircut. Brush your teeth. Don't go out there looking like you haven't showered in days. Work out, and you should be okay. I'm not saying you're gonna be Brad Pitt out there, but it's better than letting yourself go. The Bible is against that, by the way.
True. That's true.
I know it's true. But anyway, listen, caller, excellent points. You clarified a lot of things. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
So, in conclusion, all the A sides except Devin Haney. I think Devin Haney's too boring, in my opinion. I think he needs to be out of there. And Teofimo and Ryan, maybe they could fight next after this if they both win, as people are predicting might happen.
Wait a minute. Now, just one clarification here, if you will. You said you liked Lopez, you like Garcia, you're picking them to win, but with Haney, you said you don't like Haney, but you are picking him to win, correct? Despite the fact that you dislike him.
Well, I think the thing is that with Haney, I feel like he gets a lot of the refs' help. I think for some reason they like him. They keep pushing him. I think he does have skill. He's like a watered down Mayweather, kind of good, but like he's super boring. I want to see him out of there.
Well, maybe you'll get your wish. That's why you pay to see these fights, and you are indirectly paying for it by going to Twin Peaks because they do have to pay for that's a license fee to air that fight. So you are, for all intents and purposes, you are paying for the fight. So Anon, thank you for your call. Enjoy yourself, and call back next time, Raman.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too, man. Take it easy, Center. All right. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody who's been calling in so far. This is the BDA call-in show. We're still here for a little while. So make sure to call in. Give us your predictions on everything going on in boxing. We haven't even scratched the surface yet of everything we got to cover. So, and then tomorrow we will be having a regular show with our panelists. Very curious to see what they have to say, or to hear rather what they have to say about these upcoming fights. What are people saying in the chat, by the way? Double L says he's going to go to Twin Peaks looking for a pair of twins with peaks in their pants. Come on. See right away that people in the chat, they got no sympathy for their fellow men. Rigman Thomas says, grab a cheek when you go. Go out there and sexually assault the waitresses. I mean, you could get away with that in the good old days, 1950s. The girls actually enjoy that if you played your cards right? Like if you slap him in the ass and go, hee hee. Nowadays, you got to watch out. You might get yourself a bipolar girl, or, one of those 70% of American women who are on medication or whatever, and you just never know. Pilavaca says, will Haney go suicide after getting KO'd? Come on. I don't think so. I don't think he goes suicide mode. King KO says, caller on the phone with his hand on his hip and wrist bent. Okay, come on. What? Why do you... What from that call? What did you glean from that call? What made you glean that from that call is what I'm trying to get at here. You guys are a bunch of meanies, if I may say so myself. Double L says, why this guy keep talking about liking other men? Okay, he wasn't. King Mucho says, restraining orders. Rafael Garza says, don't shower so your pheromones do most of the talking. I mean, I don't know about that. I know women like a little musk smell, but if you go around smelling like a homeless guy, that, like Bucha said, those restraining orders are gonna come in fast. Believe me, I know. Pelavaca says probably he's a waitress and gets his ass fucking. I'm gonna start reading the comments. What is this? What is this? You guys got to step it up, man. Got to step it up. Let's go on a phone call here. Let's see who's calling. 917, you're on the air. 917, what's on your mind?
Yeah, so I know you guys thought you lost me before, but really I was in the street when I was talking to you, and there was a bunch of Muslims, so I had to hang up.
Where are you, in Canada?
But I'm home now.
All right, good for you.
I was walking in the street. I'm in New York City. We have a lot of Free Palestine supporters walking all over the place. But anyway, that's besides the point. Listen, we got a great Mexican fighter in Ramirez stepping in to fight that hypocrite. And let me tell you something. If you know anything about Mexicans, then you know they like their carnitas, their pork, their pulled pork carnitas. And I bet...
You sound like Hank Hill, but go ahead, Clark. Yeah.
What I'm saying here is Devin Haney's a hypocrite. He's going to eat that pork. He's going to eat those carnitas in that ring.
All right, that's your prediction right there. You're picking the
left hook, right hook, and a plate of tostadas.
Wait a minute. Okay, first of all, who is this? So I know what to write on your prediction for your prediction. What do we call you, caller?
You can call me.
Don't overthink it. Just the first thing that comes to your mind.
You know what? Why doesn't the chat call me something? Listen, the chat can name me right now.
No, you don't want to. You don't want to leave it up to the chat. Believe me, I'll call you every day, New York.
No. Listen, man. I'm originally from Texas. I got thick skin. Chat, what do you want to call me?
We'll call you. We'll call you Marlboro Man. No, I don't even know. No, okay. Listen.
Actually, all right. No. I got something. Listen, all those the Devin Haney's. They like that halal food, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys are going to call me the haram food, okay? Haram food.
Haram food or fool?
Food.
Food. All right, food. All right, so you're picking Ramirez. He's going to bait Haney with the carnitas.
No, with the tostadas con chile and a little bit of carnitas on the side.
Yeah, the tostadas con chile, those are good. Let me tell you, I got the hankering for a couple of those right now. Okay, so that's what we've got there for you for that. Well, how about Lopez Barboza?
I think Teofimo Lopez is going to do him right over.
He's going to do him right over. All right, Lopez does him right over.
No homo, like new generation.
I know. You're a regular cowpoke, not one of those other pokers, right?
Not the 1-7 Haney's used to, yeah, not those.
Oh, come on, Haram, come on. All right, and finally, what about, Garcia Romero?
Garcia Romero, I mean, come on, man, it's written on the walls right there.
Is it?
Rolly's he's done been to the ringer, they've done rung his bell a couple times, and he's really just here for entertainment at this point. He's just a walking dummy.
Sounds like you're describing me. All right, so you're saying Garcia then? That's what I can surmise.
I got Garcia.
All day, every day.
Like
all
a plate of chorizo. Feed him right up.
By the way, one final question for you, Haram Food, before we go. Chili, beans or without beans?
Wait, I got a message for the Mr. Jokey Jokes in the chat. He said I sound fruity. That's not what your sister said.
Oh, wait a minute. You can't say that. All right, well, listen, Haram Food, good to hear from you. Good to hear from a good red-blooded American, real salt of the earth. And, wait, hold on. Somebody's knocking on your door, man.
Allah Akbar!
Oh, shit. Hopefully you stay safe out there, Haram. Stay safe out there.
Yeah.
Stay south. Hey,
Too bad Trump's president. Take it easy, boys.
Texan in New York, man. That is strange. But listen, I'm a stranger in a strange land myself, Mexican living in Canada, so I sympathize. Take it easy out there, Haram. Call back next time, man.
Listen, bud. One last thing. A good woman will send you all over. But anyway, take care, guys. Good night.
All right, take it easy, man. Oh, shit. I almost dropped the call here. All right. Getting a lot of good calls here. Let me tell you, this is your show, guys. You call in, you give us your predictions, and we write them down. Give me your predictions, I write them down. How about that? Easy as pie. Don't forget to hit that like, fellas. Hit that like. Really helps us out. What are people in the chat saying, by the way? Some Rando says, yes, but why free Palestine first? Self-preservation of the Western societies first. All right. DJ N1 says, is it the guy out of Moonshine? Ah, come on. Two Matador says, haha, that's not what my sister said. Warrior Way says, I can see him eating a carnitas burrito on his tractor. LL says he's going to be a gigolo for men. Ah, come on. LL, you're going too far, man. Everyone else is joking around. You're being too mean-spirited. Rigman says, Ryan bringing in the MAGA crowd. Super Sardoni says, let's just call him Tumbleweed. Fuck, that was a good one. That's what we should have called him. Mars Boxell says, Joe Exotic. King KO says, who's the country bumpkin on the line? Come on. Mr. Palavaca says his mom is probably his wife. Come on. That's an ugly stereotype of the southern people. LL says he already called ICE on BDA. People forget I'm in Canada, man. ICE has no jurisdiction over here. And I got papers to prove I belong here, so come at me, bro. That's all I can say. All right. Don't forget to hit the like. Come on. Salidas. I don't even think that's the real Salidas. He says he's in New York to work the Penn Station glory holes. Come on, man. What the Oh, boy. I got to tell you, some of these people here today. Let's go back to the phone line, see if we can get some purification. 918, you're on the air. 918, what's on your mind?
Go ahead, BDA. This is Tony Boston.
Oh, Tony, what's up, man? Hey, I can barely hear you, man.
Nothing, BDA. Hold on just a minute.
Yeah, please, if you're on...
You hear me now, BDA?
I'm much better, Tony. What's up, man?
Yeah, I'm in a Bobcat. I was listening to the show.
Sure.
And I think Jose Ramirez has a good shot at beating Devin Haney.
Is that right?
It just depends on which Jose Romero that we get.
Huh. So, okay, so what are the keys to victory for Ramirez then?
All he really has to do is throw the left. Pressuring, cut the ring off. I think he'll make Devin fight off the back foot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Devin will stay in the center of the ring. If we get to Jose Romero that follows Josh Taylor, then he'll probably give Ramirez a boxing lesson. But at 147, I think Ramirez has a little bit more power than Haney, even though Haney has a better boxing IQ.
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking Ryan to stop Rolly 7-9. I'm taking Jose Ramirez to stop Devin late, championship rounds, and I'm going to take Teofimo stopping Barboza from 6-8.
Whoa. Okay. So you're saying Ramirez stops Haney?
Yeah, I think he does. I think he looks good with the weight on him, you know what I mean? He looks, he doesn't look drained. I think he understands this. Really, I mean, if he loses this one, you know, where does he go from here? I think he has to try to win the fight. I think Devin is really overlooking Ramirez, even though he said he's not worried about Ryan. But you can be sure that he's worried about that left, you see, because when Linares rocked him, that fucked his whole career up. Excuse my language. But that messed his career up because he can't get his head out of the way of a left. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I mean, he's had his head, probably has had his head somewhere up something else, if you catch my drift with the Didi parties. But just remind me, okay, so you said Lopez, you're picking Lopez to beat Barboza, is that what you said?
Yeah, I think Lopez stops Barboza between 6 and 8. And like I said, I think Ryan gets Rolly out of there. If Ryan clips him early, it might be 3 or 4 rounds, but just about like the same as Tank did, you know, because Rolly's more of a judo fighter than a boxer. So that being said, I'm picking those 3.
All right. Interesting predictions. The one that you really got me on was Ramirez Haney. We'll see, man. Maybe, people are saying Haney's probably going to look good because of no longer having to drain himself. But like you said, no one's mentioning the fact that maybe Ramirez looks good, finally moving up in weight. He's been at 140 for a long time. You could be right. I didn't think about that, Tony. That's an excellent point right there. Anything else you want to say?
No, that's it. Thank you for having me on, B-Day.
Thank you for calling in, man.
Salute.
Thank you, man. Call back next time, man. Take it easy. All right, that was Tony Boswell right there. Finally, somebody picking Ramirez, and like I said, that's an interesting point. How is Ramirez going to look fighting at 143 or whatever that weight might be? It's. I hadn't thought about that. Like I said, maybe Haney looks faster too, or because he's going to be healthier, you would assume, but you just never know now, do you? That's why they're fighting these fights. And like I said, look at that commercial that they had over there that they just released for the City of Wolves. It's all about Ryan versus Garcia. Excuse me. It's all about Garcia versus Haney. As if they already won their fights. They even make fun of it in the commercial when they have Romero and what's his name, Ramirez's face on pizza boxes. So they're already over. Yeah, boxing history is replete with people looking ahead. That is one of the major reasons why upsets happen. Shout out to Cosmic in the chat. He says, I got Ramirez, Haney, chin not the same. Ramirez looks strong at 147. Oh, okay. So we got another person picking Ramirez. Let me write it down here. Cosmic says Ramirez stops Haney. Wowee. All right. Interesting. We're starting to cook with some hot grease here. Let me tell you. Let's go to a phone call here. Let's go to 956. 956, you're on the air. 956, what's on your mind?
Hey, saludos, BDA.
Oh, LT.
Tony on the line, bro.
¿Qué onda, carnal? I heard Tony on the line, bro, so I thought, bro, you know what? Let me follow up with my phone call, bro.
Oh.
Why not, bro?
Why
You know
not?
what I mean? I agree with Tony 100%, bro. I got Ramirez on that bitch, bro. I got Ramirez beating the shit out of Devin Haney. Put me down, brother. Double that down, bro. I got Barboza on Teofimo Lopez, too. I got Barboza. Put Barboza on there for me, bro. And
hold on. Decision or
yes, decision, bro. Decision.
all right.
Shit, bro. Nah, man, fucking put me decision, bro. That Barboza bidding on that shit, bro. He's gonna make him look stupid, bro.
Hey, by the way, LT.
Silly. Unless it's a robbery, bro. I got Barboza on that fight.
All right. By the way, the way you suddenly said, I thought you shit your pants or something. I was a little afraid for you there, but good to see that it was just because you were, overthinking things. So I'm happy for you. All right,
it's because I'm thinking like, they might rob him, but I don't like that shit. So put me for him winning, bro. You know what I mean? I'm shooting with smart. The smart move would say the Teofimo. I might edge it to Teofimo, bro, but I feel ballsy tonight, bro.
Is that right?
So I got definitely Barboza. I got Barboza on that fight. I got Ramirez on that fight. And you know what, bro? This is the scary part. I got Rolly Romero beating the shit out of Ryan Garcia too, bro.
Oh, the first person to pick. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, and you know why? Because fucking Ryan has been out the ring for so long, bro. That's why. And he's already acting, and he already fights like a weirdo without being in the ring, bro. Like, so a year without being in the ring, he's gonna even fight even worse. So I got Rolly edging that shit, bro. I got Rolly rehydrated, feeling good, letting those hands go, maybe getting clipped, but holding Ryan Garcia down. You know what I mean? So I got Rolly on that fight as well. Fuck, give me a knockout, bro. Give me a knockout.
Okay. Knockout, shit out of Garcia and a KO. All right, that's interesting right there, man. Hey, by the way, LT, I was on the
Monday.
Second Renaissance. By the way, Mr. Pelavaca says se cagó el vato. No, okay, now we already established that there was no such thing going on. No, but I was doing a Second Renaissance yesterday, and give me your thoughts on this real quick. The Pope dies on the 21st of April. That's Easter. What a coincidence. And then the next day, Pakistan and India start having intensified their skirmishes. What do you think about all that? Coincidence, or are we entering some interesting times here?
I think the Pope probably died before, but they just let us know that he died that day. So I think that was a little, like, you know what I mean? Like, let's make it seem like something holiday-ish. So I think he died before that day. But I think let us know that public. And India and Pakistan, that's for United States to fall for it. I don't think nothing's going to come from that. I heard that they had their aircraft carrier, and they brought it back in unexpectedly. India brought his aircraft carrier back in unexpectedly, like, I want to say, rudely interrupted from its trip. It rushed back. So I'm thinking, it's a little bit of shenanigans. I think it's what we call the snare. The snare is to make America fall for the snare, right? And God will put Babylon on the snare. So yes, that's what I think, brother. Hey man, where is your channel? Is it on YouTube?
Rumble.
On Rumble. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, man. They took that Rumble out of the UK, right? They don't have it anymore?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I know we had it here
or
in
was
Canada.
It BitChute?
Maybe. You know what? Yeah, it might have been BitChute. You're right. I think that's
BitChute, right? BitChute. Yeah. Okay, yeah, for sure, man. I'm gonna go subscribe to your channel, brother.
All right, fantastic.
You should do it on YouTube too, bro. When you do it on YouTube.
I mean, I like YouTube for the boxing, but I like YouTube for the boxing. YouTube is still fantastic for that, but when it comes to other stuff, it's a little bit more restrictive. But listen, LT, man.
I get it.
get it.
We got to run, man, but shout out to you. Thank you for your call.
Yeah, for sure, brother. Ahí estamos. I'll let you go. Shout out to toda la raza. Peace out.
Peace out, LT. Thank you for calling in, man. Call back next time. All right, that was LT right there, the one and only, giving us his predictions. Hey, you never know, man. He's picking the underdogs in 2 of those fights, so we'll see what happens. Let's go to another phone call. Let's go to 646. 646, you're on the air. 646, what's on your mind? 646 dropped off. All right. Don't forget to call in, fellas. We're still here for a couple more minutes. Well, a couple more, about 20 minutes. And I got to now speed this up. Okay, so like I said, Garcia, I don't put too much. Oh, hold on a second. Is the caller back? Hold on, let me see if 646, you're on the air. 646. Yes, you're on the air.
Can you hear me? Okay, so I will say that, first of all, Turkey Al Sheikh typically puts on the best fights there are. I think that this fight is subpar. It simply is not at the level of a lot of the other fights that he's done, which included Anthony Joshua, even Ben versus Eubank, which should not have been put on in the first case. But anyway, that aside, who is going to win the fight out of the weekend? I believe that Devin Haney is going to win his fight against Ramirez, and also Ryan Garcia will win his fight, and Lopez as well, Teofimo Lopez. And just going back to the fight again at the weekend, I think that the whole idea of rehydration clauses should be stripped from all of boxing in its entirety. It's a complete and utter disgrace. It's very dangerous, and Eubank, apparently, he only got discharged from hospital today. Today was the time that he left hospital. This shows you how dangerous it is to enforce such a horrible provision, which actually endangers the lives of the fighters who compete in the sport.
I agree with you, Lion Legal. I agree with you, but I want to get your thoughts on this, though, because I dislike the rehydration clauses, because now I'm left wondering, how would the fight have looked without the rehydration clause? But what do you think about this? The counter argument that I hear from some people is, well, come on, BDA, you complain about weight bullying. Why aren't you pro dehydration clauses? How would you respond to that?
The fact of the matter is that there are weight classes for a reason, and it is incumbent on the participant to have enough foresight and understanding of his capabilities. And if he doesn't, then his team has to protect him and say, this is the weight at which you should fight. An example of a poorly devised team is, what's his name? It's escaping me now. Martin Bakoli. Okay, this is somebody with requisite skill, very good fighter, somebody that, in fact, in sparring, he's actually beaten or knocked out a lot of top fighters, apparently. Usyk, Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois, etc. Why would his team allow him to fight out of shape, to fight Joseph Parker, a person with virtually no knockout power, and get knocked out by Joseph Parker? This is exactly what I mean. A lot of teams around boxers are very desperate. So, fine, people can say that somebody is a weight bully because they have more muscle at a particular weight and they're more imposing physically at a particular weight. Even if you look at Canelo, he has very thick neck, very thick arms, musculature compared to his competitors. However, that at the time that they have to weigh in, they still make the weight and they're able to fight. That's a different thing from saying that a person who fights at a weight should restrict his weight. There's an artificial restriction. So I think that is where the unfairness comes in. When you're forcing a person to not just restrict their weight, but to also risk their life, because a lot of people don't understand that these people are dehydrated. They take a lot of, I'm not a doctor, but from what I've heard, a lot of moisture, water goes away, not just from their body, but from their brains as well, which is more likely to lead to a fatality is more likely to lead to a fatality. And what people don't appreciate is that the trauma that these boxers have to undergo is such that you see the effects when they stop boxing. You see the effect in their, unfortunately, in their speech patterns, in the fact that a lot of them may have CTE, may have a lot of trauma, which shows by like almost slurred manner of speech, etc. So this is very, very serious, and that's why rehydration clauses are not the same thing as fighting at the weight category. Everybody has a weight at which they walk around, and you have to have some type of weight category to try and make things fair. But the rehydration clause is at another level, and in my opinion, should not exist in boxing.
Well, there you go. That's a very erudite response right there. Very concise and to the point. Shout out to you, Lion Legal. I'm going to use that one, by the way. And I suspect unfortunately, this is a conversation that I suspect is going to continue because people are going to continue to weight bully, and people are also other fighters are going to continue with the dehydration clauses. So unless we speak up as boxing fans and really call attention to some of these dangerous practices, I suspect they're just going to continue with them. But shout out to you, Lion Legal, and call back next time, right, man? Take it easy out there.
Cheers, man. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, man, these dehydration clauses, I can't help but wonder what could have been had there been no rehydration clause between Eubank and Conor Benn. Let's go to the phone lines here. Let's go to 253. 253, you're on the air. 253. What's on your mind?
Hello?
Yes, 253, you're on the air.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you, 253. What's up? What's up?
Yes, no, I was calling in. I wanted to talk about the current fights taking place.
Absolutely. The floor is yours.
Yes, on the Barboza Teofimo Lopez fight, I wanted to simply say that a lot of people are giving Barboza way too much credit simply for the fact that he has faced, well, in my opinion, Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez made it really clear that he was not ready for that fight, and it showed with his performance.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, you cannot compare Jose Ramirez to a Teofimo Lopez that we got when facing I'm sorry, not Jack Catterall, but
Are you referring to Taylor? Caller, you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. So you were saying Ramirez wasn't the same. Were you referring to the Taylor fight? Are you saying Ramirez wasn't the same guy from the Taylor fight?
Well, no. What I'm saying is Teofimo Lopez faced Taylor and absolutely destroyed him when everybody thought that Lopez was going to lose against him, and he performed fantastic.
I agree. Underestimate them at your own peril. You're right, and I do agree that some people are saying, "Oh, Barboza's like Kambosos." I don't really. I mean, I understand why they say that they're both patient counterpunchers, but Barboza's not as fast as Kambosos, so I don't know if he can keep up with Lopez. What do you think?
See the difference between that right there simply is that people are overlooking Teofimo Lopez because Barboza's a little taller and has a longer reach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but Barboza does not have the power, though, that Teofimo Lopez has shown, in his past performances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. I've been on the side of Lopez for a little bit now since the fight was announced. I agree with you, caller. Do you think Lopez wins by decision, or how do you think it goes?
I'll be honest. The Lopez fight between Barboza, I got Lopez beating him. It's not going to be an easy fight. If the fight goes the full 12, I'll give the fight to Lopez in a decision.
Okay. By the way, what do we call you, caller? Well, what's your nickname, or what do you want to be called?
Nickname on YouTube, well, it's Nepo El Loco.
Nepo El Loco? El Loco?
Yes, sir.
Nepo, like a nepotism.
Yeah, so basically Neto, Loco.
Neto. I thought you said Nepo. Okay, Neto El Loco. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, Neto El Loco. And then, hey, real quick, I just want to add real quick. The fight between Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero, come on, man. A lot of your callers are completely I don't think they really understand what's going on here. Ryan is on a revenge tour, and if Devin Haney does not beat Ramirez, he already stated he won't give him a rematch.
Yeah, that's true. So okay, but so you're saying Romero ain't beating Garcia, is what you're saying?
Absolutely not. I got Ryan Garcia doing something more devastating than Tank Davis.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
let's look at Ryan. Yes, Ryan. Everybody thinks Ryan is such a mental case, but when Ryan is focused, off social media, off drugs, and off of alcohol, this guy is a monster.
I tend to agree with you. I think he's severely the opposite of Barboza. I think he's underrated. Garcia, that is. You're absolutely right. What about the Haney-Ramirez fight?
And you know, now the Haney-Ramirez fight, that fight's not going to be easy for Ramirez simply because Devin Haney has a great jab. Okay? Devin Haney knows how to create his distance between him and his opponent simply with the jab.
Okay, so it's safe to say you're picking Haney by decision.
So if it goes to 12 rounds, I got Devin Haney. But if Jose Ramirez catches him within the 8th or 9th, 10th round and rocks him, he could finish him. I don't see it happening, but right now I got Haney. It's like a 60-40 fight.
All right, interesting predictions right there, and good analysis, if I may say so. Anything else you want to say, Neto, before we move on?
Yes, I simply wanted to say that a lot of the people just listening to your podcast, and I've been watching boxing for 40-some years.
Oh.
I love the sport. It's a great sport. It's a 1v1 sport. And I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of people choose their fighters because they like them, not because of their resumes or their technical abilities in the ring, but they pick them because they simply like the fighter. I think boxing is beyond that.
Oh, absolutely. I'm right there with you. Although I didn't hear too many callers say, hey, I like this guy. So I think some people are saying, I like this guy and I hope he wins. But then they would actually make the pick and it was the opposite of what they want to happen. So I didn't hear a lot of people picking with their heart in this one. But shout out to you, Neto. Good to hear from you there. And call back next time, right, man?
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Take it easy out there. All right.
Thank
that was Net. Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. That was Neto El Loco. He didn't sound that crazy to me. We should call him Neto El Sabio. A lot of wisdom right there. Don't forget to hit that like, fellas. Hit that like. Really helps us out. By the way, hold on. Super chat. Shout out to Josh. Shout out to Josh for his contribution with the super chat. He says, Ryan wins by first round KO, then pumps for Adderall. Is that what they're going to catch him? It's actually... Adderall might help with it supposedly helps with concentration, right? So maybe that, but then actually it's a stimulant. So I don't know if they test for that. I don't even know. Are you allowed to take Adderall before a fight? I would think that the Adderall would actually be counterproductive for boxing because you already before a professional fight, you're going to be on, that the anxious energy starts bubbling up. If you're on Adderall, you're going to be spastic. So I don't know if Adderall would help. But anyway, I'm overthinking it here. Shout out to Josh, who says Ryan wins by first round KO. I don't know if that's his actual prediction, by the way, but we're going to go for that. Hold on a second. Writing it down here. Josh says Ryan, first round KO. All right, shout out to Josh for his contribution with the super chat. Don't forget to hit that like. We still have the phone lines open, so make sure to call in. I want to get to... Okay, so forget Romero Garcia. We'll talk about that fight. I'll give you more comments as the week unfolds. Back to then Canelo. Canelo's fighting Scull. Scull has a sizable advantage here, it seems to me, in terms of the proportions. He's taller than Canelo. He seems about as muscular as Canelo. So he's got that physicality going for him, which should not be overlooked. However, skill-wise, he drops his hands when he punches. He leaves his hand on the same... Defensively, he's just irresponsible. I know people have a Cuban fetish. Anytime they hear Cuba, they think, oh, this guy must be a marvel in the ring. No, William Scull is not that guy. But again, he's very big. So it'll be interesting to see how Canelo, who looked very small, well, not very small, but he looks smaller compared to Berlanga and Munguia. We'll see how he looks against Scull. I'm always interested in watching Canelo fight. And he should score that stoppage, let me tell you, because if not, people are going to shit on him for failing to get stoppages. It's going to be the 4th year in a row since he has failed to score a stoppage. Badu Jack, Noel Gevor, Mikhailian, that's an interesting fight right there, cruiserweight matchup. Munguia versus Sudas, like I said, if Munguia fails to get that stoppage, if he fails to get the win, retire, man, because first of all, we know he's not that guy, like they say in the streets, right? He's not him. But he could be a force to be reckoned with by virtue of his size. He's got a mean left hook to the body. He does have heavy hands, but there's a lot of things missing with Jaime Munguia. You know what? It was the same thing with Zurdo Ramirez. I was never on the Zurdo train. And I was actually quite aghast and perplexed when some people were picking him to beat Bivol. I said, how? Barring a one-punch knockout, how do you see he's not going to outbox him? He's not even outwork him because he's not that type of guy. And it's the same thing with Munguia. He refuses to let those hands go unless he's got that perfect target. Maybe if he moves up to cruiserweight like Ramirez, maybe he can find success in a different division. I don't know. It's unlikely, but he should win this fight. I mean, he dropped... People keep clowning Munguia, by the way, but he did drop Suras. And see, he was beating him too, I think, right? In that fight. He just got careless, thinking, I've been 12 rounds with Canelo, I've been 12 rounds with Davidchenko, I've been 12 rounds with all these other guys, and then so what's Suras going to do to me? Well, there's no such thing as light hitters if you get your chin exposed coming forward. And then heavyweight. Holy smokes. Bakoli versus Ajagba, how about that fight? Everyone's talking about Haney, what does he have left? What does Bakoli have left? Because it wasn't that long ago that he got stopped by Parker. And again, he was horribly out of shape for that one, taking the fight on 6 days notice? He literally got off the couch for that fight. And it wasn't that long ago. And this is the heavyweight division, and Ajagba can crack. So how's that going to look? I know a lot of people would probably still pick Bakoli, and I would concur. Barring any side effects from the Parker fight, I would still pick Bakoli in this one. But Ajagba's no pushover. Yeah, Frank Sanchez outboxed him a couple of years ago. That was a completely different style from Bakoli's. Bakoli's going to stand in front of him and try to peck away and mix in some power shots in between those throwaway shots. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Bakoli should be able to win that one. And then on Saturday, Sunday, Inoue versus Cardenas. I really started doing more viewing of Cardenas' fights. Started watching more of his fights, and I gotta tell you, these Cardenas guys, obviously he pales in comparison with his power and speed compared to Inoue. Inoue just has him beat on those two attributes, the physicality, because Inoue also is very quick with the foot speed too. And skills-wise, once he puts the skills that he has together with that incredible physical talent, that's what makes him such a marvel in there. And so Cardenas doesn't have that speed and power, but he does have good accuracy. He's got a good jab, and he can fight on the inside and the outside. So he's a bit of a complete fighter in there, at least against the opposition he's fought so far. One thing I don't like is he overuses the shoulder roll way too much. When he fought, I think it was a Dominican guy or a Puerto Rican on the undercard. I think it was on the undercard of Santa Cruz versus Tank Davis. He was winning that fight, but then he was getting caught with some left hooks because he would stay in that Philly shell for way too long and actually got hurt in that fight. And then in his last fight on Pro Box, he ended up getting dropped. It was a fight that he was winning up to that point, and then he got dropped. He ended up surviving and winning the fight, but I don't know, if you're getting dropped because of stupid mistakes like that, when you're just standing still with the shoulder roll, not even trying to roll with the shots, we know Inoue can knock you out with the right hand or with the left. Pick your poison. So it's an uphill battle for Cardenas, but you know what? Inoue has to tenderize his opponents a little bit longer now at 122, even though he's been looking fantastic doing it. But but here's the other thing though. If this is why it's an uphill battle for Cardenas, because if he goes at Inoue, he's running into the power punches, and if he boxes from the outside, he's going to get picked apart the way Fulton was. I will say Cardenas obviously doesn't have the resume of Stephen Fulton, but they do have similar styles. Maybe that jab is a little heavier than Fulton's. And remember, a lot of people would have said Fulton was a superior fighter compared to Tapales. And it turned out to be Tapales who gave Inoue a tougher fight because he had balls the size of an Irish broad's ass. And I'm not saying Fulton doesn't have balls. He can fight on the inside, but he was shocked by the hand speed. The Palace, he went for it, despite being shocked by the hand speed as well. So I guess it depends too on the mentality. What do you want to do? Do you want to just stay away from Inoue and hope for the best? Or do you take a couple of risks and hope that you can maybe... Because Cardenas can crack too. He heard that Mexican dude that he fought in that Pro Box card. And he pulled off an upset on Showbox a couple of years ago by stoppage. So he's got a good overhand right. But in between, he just slaps too much. So I don't know. But I'm looking forward to this fight. Inoue is must-see TV. And so it's an interesting fight. The one that I'm looking forward to the most, though, on that card, on the other card, is Rafael El Divino Espinoza taking on Edward Vasquez. And for those of you that are unfamiliar with Vasquez, pay no attention to his record. Watch his fights. This dude arguably beat Raymond Ford a couple of years ago. He went up in weight at 130 to fight Cordina when Cordina was still undefeated and gave him hell. I thought Cordina won that fight, but it was still very close. So Vasquez is no easy task for anybody. If you want to watch how to pressure somebody or a guy with fast hands and not get shocked by that hand speed, it's Edward Vasquez. He stuck to Ford like glue and didn't get intimidated by the hand speed. That is a sneaky operator right there. Dangerous mentality Vasquez has. He's unafraid. And Espinosa, he's a freak in this division at 126. He's 6 feet 1 inch tall. Incredible for the division. He's got some wicked uppercuts and hooks on the inside for such a tall guy. Better inside fighter, much better inside fighter than another tall fighter in Fundora, because Espinosa does not really get hit with too much stupid stuff. I mean, yeah, he made a mistake of switch hitting against Ramirez in between, and Ramirez caught him in between during the first fight. But other than that, he's very good on the inside. For a tall guy, he tucks his chin in well, whereas Fundora doesn't, and Fundora drops his hands. Espinosa doesn't. Very good inside fighter, 31 years old, so he's at his physical peak right now. But again, Vasquez is no easy fight, no easy opponent. He's got that mentality too. You know, after he lost to Raymond Ford, he kept going at Ford backstage, screaming at him and hollering at him. And then when he lost to Cordina, he grabbed the mic and started going after Eddie Hearn. And afterwards, as he was walking back to the dressing room, there was a poster there with Eddie Hearn on the cover, and there's a famous photograph. I'll see if I can find it. Famous photograph of Vasquez flipping the photograph off. I'm telling you, this guy's got a little bit of insanity in him, but it's the good type of insanity that drives him to be competitive. I mean, when you're flipping off a poster, I'm pretty sure Vasquez is the type of guy who can get into an argument with anybody. He probably gets up in the morning ready for an argument. He probably argues with his bed sheets. I'm telling you, I like this guy's attitude. But will it be enough to take on El Divino, who, like I said, he's a physical specimen himself, 6 feet tall, 6 feet 1, actually, I think. Oh, hey, I found a photograph. Oh, it wasn't a photo of Hearn. It was a photo of Cordina. Look at that. Look at this maniac. He just fought 12 hard rounds, goes back to the dressing room and takes a picture of him flipping off Cordina. What does he think? Cordina's going to see that? Like, he thinks he's transmitting a message to Cordina telepathically? I mean, what is this? I like that. I like genuine maniacs like him, Tito Mercado. Those are good trash talkers. None of that fake trash talking that you see from Shakur Stevenson. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to beat the brakes off you. I'm going to whoop you. I'm going to whoop you. Then what do? Clinch, leap away like rabbits for 12 rounds. And then when the fight's over, they jump on the turnbuckle and they start beating their chest. Like, yeah, what? The fuck did you... Oh, excuse me. I don't want to swear. The hell did you do to be meriting this type of swagger? You didn't do anything. So it's the same thing there with... excuse me, with Shakur Stevenson. And I, like I said, I like that attitude from Cordina. I mean, excuse me, from Vasquez. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens indeed. What else was I going to say here? I wanted to show you something else. Hold on. I wanted to show you this. Hold on, that's not it. Now, this is not a real figurine, by the way. This is a AI-generated blood in, blood out. This Big Al. The ribs. No, hold on. Now, is that a pork chop? No tortillas. The money from all that gambling. And, of course, the infamous notebook right there, 1973. But what do I want to show you? Okay, yeah, before we go, the phone lines are still open for a little bit, fellas. Just a little bit. But I want to talk about hold on a second. What do I want to talk about? I got a couple of things here. Oh, yeah. Okay. One last thing here for the boxing hipsters. And I think this is important if you box too. What does Conor Benn do? What's one of his flaws when he's coming forward? Why couldn't he sustain his attacks against Eubank? Why couldn't Conor Benn sustain those attacks? Because he makes the same mistake that Teofimo Lopez does, except at least Teofimo Lopez overall is a more skilled guy. Look at that. Look at the width of that stance of those feet. So you're taking that big ass step, right? Conor Benn is rather. Okay, so now picture how long that back foot has to travel to get back into punching position, in balance. So he's loading up, like the quack says. Yeah, he's falling in on top of that. And look at that. Now he's wide open. So he's jumping in from way too far. That's why he's got that wide stance, because he's jumping way too much, because he's not confident in working his way on the inside, because he's got no guard too on top of that. So he's jumping in. Now that back foot has to travel all the way back to around here. Oh, well, you guys can see my cursor, but has to travel about 2 more feet to be in on balance and continue fighting. By the time that back foot arrives to its proper position, Chris Eubank can counter and get out of the way. That's what caused Conor Benn the fight. It wasn't so much the size. I mean, it played a part, but it's just bad technique from Conor Benn. They really need to. And then on the inside, he was dropping his hands. I mean, it's just, he's more Ricky Hatton than Golovkin, obviously. Remember Ricky Hatton? He would jump in from way too far away, and if he just took one step back, you can make him miss. And then what did Floyd Mayweather do? He just tired him out because he couldn't keep jumping in for 12 rounds. Takes a lot of energy, very energy consuming. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to show right there. It wasn't Big Al that I wanted to show you, although I did sort of wanted to show you that to you. But Barboza, by the way, says he doesn't think Teofimo Lopez is anything special, and he predicts a one-sided beating that will surprise people. Ring Magazine, like I said, is announcing that Usyk Dubois 2 will be taking place. Look at that. When is it set for, by the way? Wembley State, July the 19th. All right, so we're going to finally summer. It was a tepid 4 months that we got boxing-wise, but now it's starting to pick, right back up for the summer. Wembley Stadium, they said, I think. Alexander Usyk, Wembley Stadium, yes, holy smokes. And look at that. Dubois ended up pushing Usyk. First of all, Usyk, the height difference doesn't look as pronounced this time. Huh? I guess maybe it's because Usyk is wearing, he's probably wearing thick sneakers. But look at that. Look at that picture there. Why does it look like Dubois is sort of groping? He's sort of groping him. Look at that. A picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, how about 1,000 gropes? Oh. What is that? That's weird. No, but anyway, let me show you the clip of when he shoved him. Because Dubois, really, everything he does, he seems to hesitate. Whether he's speaking and he sounds like half a retard, or whether he's shoving his opponent, he just doesn't seem to have, he doesn't fully commit to it. Maybe that explains why he quits. Because his brain starts, he has a short-circuiting is what I'm trying to get at. I just short-circuited myself here. But look at this. They're staring at each other. Usyk calm and collected as usual. Dubois, you can see he's thinking about it. And look at that. What is that? That's a weak, it's almost like he was hesitating. Okay, do I push him or do I not push him? Oi, what do I do? I mean, that push was as bad as my British accent. What is this? Your sister married a white guy? What is this? I'm trying to find the fucking cocks all over the place on YouTube. Outrageous. All right. So, for some reason, did you just see that? I clicked on the video and it shows a fat dude in a Home Depot. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I can rewind. Hold on. There you go. Look at that. Somebody in the Discord said that is the most British shove they've ever seen. Look at that. He hesitated. And why did he push him in the first place? I don't get it. I mean, this is a type of artificial hyping up of fights that we've become so familiar with. But I did like when he triggered Joshua in the build-up to their fight. He said, "We can do it right now." And then Joshua goes, "Hey, shut up, Dubois." Don't say that. And then Dubois was like, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of you. That was actually good. That was entertaining. By the way, people are saying that that's my history. Look at this. I'm not even logged on to YouTube. What do you think? Look at that. Sign in. See that on the top right-hand corner? So no, it's not my history. In fact, let's go see what's going on. These are just random videos that YouTube suggests to you. What is this? It's probably AI. This dude that's all over the place. ADHD. Okay. Cameron Diaz and Snoop Dogg. Okay, see, come on, that's not my history. You guys know my history. It should be either industry videos or something related to the occult, or something related to the Satan's prophecies or whatever, right? Something idiotic like that. You're not gonna see me looking at fat guys on Home Depot. What else was I gonna say? Did I have anything else to cover? No, I guess that's it, man. 2 hours. We've been here for 2 hours. I think we covered a lot of ground. Took on a couple of predictions. So shout out to everybody who called in and gave us their predictions. We'll talk more about this with the panelists tomorrow. Hopefully they show up. Everyone's been showing up whenever they want. They've been very lax with their attendance. I'm going to have to... It's my fault, by the way. I've been too generous letting them do whatever they want. I'm going to have to put my knee on the back of their necks, as they say in the streets. I'm sorry. That's just the way it's going to be done. 50th anniversary of the Summer of Love, by the way. So things should be getting hot all over the world. And that's about it, fellas. Let me close the phone lines here. Won't be needing them anymore. But I'm glad everybody who managed to call in and give us their predictions. Tomorrow, I suspect we might be taking more predictions, so you still have a chance to do so. And then possibly a countdown show on Friday and Saturday. It's Friday and Saturday, special editions. So don't think that this is your last chance. LT says, put me for Canelo this weekend. All right. Yeah, that's the other thing is, it seems people were focusing on the City Wolves card, but remember, there's 2 other events. So do not, hold on a sec. Do not overlook those events as well. And like I said, I'm going to be buying $100 for 2 pay-per-views, so that's 50 a piece. I think Butcher said that's a 25% saving right there. So I'm definitely gonna be buying that one. Now the question is, what am I gonna be eating? Because I don't want to eat 3 days straight of just garbage. 3 days straight, that plays havoc on your stomach. So I'm curious to hear what you guys are gonna be eating too on that. They don't say don't make it dirty, all right? Keep it PG here. It's a family show. So yeah, that's about it, fellas. We gotta run. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Don't forget to hit the like on the way out. Don't forget to check out the second Renaissance over at Rumble. I'm not even going to put the link in because I don't know if YouTube has an aversion to us, publicizing their main rival. And it is their main rival, by the way. Don't get it twisted. It's starting to come up now. It's starting to advance. Although then again, who's in charge of Rumble? We've talked about that on Rumble itself. And they let you, for the most part, do that so far. So we'll see what happens. Fellas, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Shout out to Earl Stevens. Shout out to Earl. Cheddar Bob. LT. He says, I'm eating carne asada, carnal. Oh, all right. There you go. Rider of the Storm says, put me down for Ryan Ramirez and Teofimo Lopez. Okay, hold on. One last round of predictions, I suppose. Who's saying that? Some rando says Ryan. Okay. Some rando says Garcia. I'm going to say Garcia. I'm going to write Garcia, not the first names. I'm not on a first name basis like some of you. I think some of you guys know these fighters. You got connections. I don't. I'm jealous, envious, and maybe a little bit lunatic going on hinge right now. He says Teofimo Lopez. Okay, Lopez. And he says finally Ramirez. Oh, Rider of the Storm. Why did I say some rando? Excuse me. So, all right, let me just correct it here. Rider of the Storm. He's speaking Ramirez. Wow, okay, so we got 3 people so far picking Ramirez. Rider of the Storm also picked Lopez. And finally, he said Garcia. All right, some random. I'm going to write down your prediction off the air, but I do have to go. I don't think people are too entertained by me just typing away. Some random says I predict pain. Oh, okay, so shout out to LT King KO, the Quags. Shout out to the Quags, Mars Boxeo, Alfredo Contreras, Super Sardonic. What else? Hold on a second. I'm trying to play the theme here. What is that? Some gospel music? See, now that was on my playlist. Here we go. Mars Boxeo, Windy City, Will Be Done, Norman Louis, Salidas, Broughton's Boxing, The Real Food TV. Shout out to Fu, aka Julio. Check out his channel, The Real Food TV. There's only one Real Food TV. All the other ones are pale imitations. Rafael Garza. Shout out to Rafael Garza. Shout out to Impala #CCD. Sergeant. Shout out to the Sergeant. Shout out to Earl Stevens. I forgot anybody else. Oh, Mr. G4L. Bivol the Executioner. Who else? No Boxing, No Life. 2 Matador. Cheddar Bob. King Bucho holding the fort down. Joe. JDA in the chat says Adderall is cocaine in a pill. All right, shout out to you guys. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Catch you in the next one. Whoa.
I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.